San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a wonderful Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, correct, Frank? It's a long week anytime you play the Los Angeles Dodgers,
It is
man.
most certainly a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. We're here on a Wednesday, the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2, except for tomorrow. We got no shows tomorrow. No video. We're working on it, prolific. We're getting there. We're getting there as we continue here on the Braden Surprenant Show. Again, lot to break down. Lot to break down from last night's game. A ton to break down. I look like 15 years younger on that camera right now. Mustache is gone. I got rid of the mustache. I'm trying. You know what? Anybody that followed me on social media during my Italian trip, Frank, no. Actually, no. Frank wasn't following me on Instagram at that time. I can't believe it. I would post all the different cocktails that I was having throughout the times, and every caption was always, got to mix up your looks. You know what? Offense thinks I'm running a cover 2. We're going to a cover 3. We got to roll into man coverage. You got to mix up the looks. You know what? We got to mix up the mojo here. So the mustache is gone. The mustache is gone. Hopefully it flips everything. If it doesn't, you know what? We'll think of something else. I'm trying the best I can right now to get something going for the San Diego Padres after another tough loss last night. But there's a lot to talk about with last night's game. Let's talk about the negative first. I want to get this out of the way. I don't like being negative on the radio. I'm already a very negative person as it is. I do need to work on being positive more. I think a lot of people that listen to my show think I'm this over positive person. I'm not. I'm super negative. You don't want to watch a Padres game with me. I'm just saying right now, you just don't want to. Super negative. Ask any of my friends. They'll be like, bro, stop being a doomer. And the thing is you have to have that, you have to understand, this is why the 24-hour rule is in existence. This is why you have a cooling off period. So anybody else that, if you got kids and they're playing youth sports or high school sports and you want to ask about why, 24-hour rule is put in place for a reason. People get upset, the emotions of the game and everything like that. Last night was incredibly frustrating. I was ready to put a nail in the coffin of the San Diego Padres for the 2025 season. I was like, this team, it's done. I'm tired of watching these guys. It's just never going to work out. Just tired of it. Tired of watching them. And it's for a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, I'm tired of listening about the Xander Bogaerts thing, but I'm sick and tired of watching that guy ground out into a double play anytime there's guys on base. I mean, it's just like, it's almost like clockwork. If there's multiple runners on base and less than 2 outs and Xander Bogaerts is up, it's going to be a ground ball double play. I mean, he left like 1,000 people on base last night. 0 for night. It was awful. He was awful. He's been awful in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So that needs to change. You missed a grand slam by inches last night on Gavin Sheets early in the game. Ends up being a sac fly. That was incredibly frustrating. Estrada got absolutely lit up for the second time against the Dodgers. I mean, he can say, I like the attitude he had after the game last week where he got rocked. We'll be ready for him next time. He wasn't ready for him next time. He got shelled. You can't have that guy get shelled in a game like that. Again, I'm getting all the negative out now. I mean, I got some positive on the Estrada thing in a second. But he got absolutely rocked last night. So your pitching staff and the bullpen let you down. I thought Vasquez was very serviceable. I'm sick and tired of watching Andy Pages play for the Dodgers. That guy is he looks like a future James Outman. where he like is on a tear and then he'll just disappear in 2 to 3 years. And you'll just be like, oh, what happened to Andy Pages? Oh, I don't know. Just like every other center fielder the Dodgers have had the last 10 years. So you got the double plays from Xander. You got, I don't know what Sheets was doing. You got to be able to get him to contribute there near the end. He didn't get the knock when he needed it. At least the sac fly. But he popped it up in the infield. You can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. And thank God for Trenton Brooks. I was like, nobody employs Trenton Brooks on a playoff team yesterday. He gets a home run. I'm glad he did that. Got a little bit of a spark. But yesterday, the bullpen was not... Estrada was awful. Xander was like an automatic out yesterday. Your bottom of the order is terrible. You got Luis Ariz. On a 2-0 pitch, man, what are we doing? I heard Ben Woods talking about this. Luis, buddy, we got to be able to not swing at everything. I even looked it up today. I looked up what the Padres are doing with approach. I heard a phone call coming in. I think it was Nick or something like that on Ben Woods. And it was like, I got to know what the approach is. How do you swing 3-0? How do you not swing 2-0 and then swing 2-0 with a rise? What's our philosophy? I looked it up on the 3-0 and the 2-0 swinging. The Padres don't really swing at 3-0, 2-0 a lot. If you had to guess this season how many times the Padres have swung 3-0, what would that number be? Out of every single at-bat in the 2025 season, how many at-bats resulted in a Padres player swinging 3-0? 4. The Padres have only swung 3-0 4 times, and one of them was Manny the other day. They don't swing at 3-0, which I don't mind with. That's the philosophy. The data shows that they're not swinging 3-0. 2-0 is kind of the same thing. Padres hit decently 2-0 statistically on the season. They've only swung at 2-0 42 times this year. In fact, the pitch that they're the best at, batting average-wise, is the first pitch they see in an at-bat. San Diego Padres, as a team, hitting 357 on the first pitch they see. Maybe they should swing at the first pitch more. Just swing out of their shoes. But again, Bogarts was awful. He's been awful. Ariz has off to one of the worst starts he has had in his career. The whole point of having Luis Ariz on the team is getting a base hit with guys on base because he's a singles hitter. I'm sick and tired of watching Luis Ariz put the ball in the air, and I'm sick and tired of watching Xander Bogaerts put the ball about 15 feet in the ground. They should switch swings. Xander needs to swing more like Luis and put a little loft on the ball. At least if you put the ball in the outfield to get a sac fly, you only get 1 out. If he struck out, he'd at least only get you 1 out instead of 2. By just beating the ball into the ground. I don't understand it. The metrics with X, he's hitting the ball hard. It's not showing signs of age. He needs a week off. He needs a week off. You're seeing everything on all the inside looks of his numbers, and you're like, I don't know how is he not hitting the ball? He needs a week off. And I'm tired. And here's the thing: I'm tired of answering this question. And I ask it every single time people ask about Xander. I go, did anybody read Kevin Acey's article about a month ago on Xander Bogarts? Usually the ones that criticize him the most. And they all respond with no. Does anybody read? Does anybody read anymore? I know you need a subscription, everything like that. We get a station one, so it's a little bit of. I get it. Not everybody can do that. The fact that he was making adjustments in his at-bats a month ago, and I don't even think it's happening right now. I don't even think it's not happening. I think it's staying the same. Is insanity. You can never be successful like that. So he is mentally in a bad spot, at least at the plate, and the batting results look like it. You could see him. He's frustrated. He's trying to do too much. And the Padres in the past they've given a lot of people too much information. You can look at Will Myers near the end of his career. That guy had so much information shoved into his noggin, he couldn't even focus. But he needs a week off. Xander needs to be like, you know what? I got a pulled hamstring. I'm going to be out for a week and a half. I got a little tweak in my calf. Need to be out a week and a half. They've tried everything they can. They're even taking him off his legs. Why do you think he started DH? It's not because he can't field. It's not because he's tired. They're having him DH so he can try to figure out his at-bats because he's so messed up at the plate. And it's not ability. It's all mental with him. You could just totally tell. It's all mental. He needs a week off. But as the morning show discussed, and I agree, who are you going to put there instead? I had so many people last night DMing me. And by the way, can you stop DMing me when Xander Bogaerts plays poorly like it's me swinging the bat? I'm not swinging the bat. That's not me up there. Pass it along to Xander. DM him if you want. I don't know. I can't do anything about it. I can't fix his at-bats. I'm not going to sit Xander down at age 32 like, hey, man, I think we need to work on something. That's not my job. That's Victor Rodriguez's job. But I got so many people DMing me about why is Xander still batting fifth? And my answer every time is, are you going to bat Lockridge fifth? Because he's still better than Lockridge, Iglesias, Cronenworth, Maldonado. I mean, that's why he's batting fifth. That's why he's batting fifth. You want to see Brandon Lockridge bat fifth? You want to say Jake Cronenworth bat fifth? Jake Cronenworth is the exact same player right now as Xander Bogaerts. He's like the exact same player. He ain't doing anything either. Do you want to bat him fifth? Go ahead. Your results are going to be the same. You want to bat Martin Maldonado fifth? He had a double yesterday. He missed the home run by inches. Why don't you bat him fifth? Who's going to bat fifth? Who's going to play shortstop? Again, I get it. He's not playing well. He's awful. He's been awful. Beyond brutal. As somebody I used to work with used to say all the time. He is beyond brutal right now. I get it. He's been beyond brutal. Luis Arraez has been kind of brutal in the last couple of weeks. The offense in general has been brutal. But again, as much as I want to lay out the negatives, and I want to get to the fireworks last night was just must-watch TV with the Dodgers. It's not a rivalry. As you hit Fernando in the shoulder. Come on, man. Quit the act, David. Quit the act. Nobody's believing you're gaslighting. We're going to talk about that later. I mean, are you kidding me, Dave Roberts? Are you kidding me? How do you his fake straight face he has in the post game press conference? Like, buddy, nobody's believing you right now. And I'm so sick and tired of they're we're the high road BS. They haven't been a classless organization for the last 3 or 4 years. Classless. Dodgers are such bush league, man. I just everything they do is so ridiculous. They used to have class. I used to respect that organization. I don't respect them anymore. They've got down to the mud with everybody else in baseball. They used to be classy. They're not anymore. Ever since the Padres beat the Dodgers in 2022, they've immediately turned into the most classless organization I've ever seen. And you know what? It's flat out embarrassing for their organization. It's embarrassing for the LA on their hat. And it's embarrassing for Major League Baseball, the way they act like that and the way the national media kisses their ass all the time. It's disgusting. Enough with the gaslighting. Oh, we didn't hit him on purpose. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Give me a break. We'll talk about that in a second. Is there anything else negative that I've missed, Frank? Am I missing anything? We talked about Estrada. Bogarts has been terrible. Arraez was terrible. Sheets not swinging at the 2-0 pitch, which I actually didn't really mind, even though it was a fastball right down the middle. I think I've gotten all the negative stuff out of the way.
We've talked about it, and you're 100% right on this, where you forget about getting offense from the catcher position. That's a given. They don't care whether or not they get it, and they're not going to. You're pinch hitting Martin Maldonado, who had a double in the game, with Elias Diaz. Really? I understand if you want to swap them out with pitchers coming in, because that's what Schilt's been doing all year. You're going to let Diaz hit? Really? Come on.
I had everybody's favorite social media presence, DSG, up yesterday at a bad time because he fought back immediately on social media. But our guy DSG, he had the greatest tweet. The greatest tweet of all time was like 2 days ago when the caption was Diaz pinch hitting for Maldonado, and it was a guy just like flipping a guy that looked just like him
It's like,
over his head. It was just like, it's the same guy over and over and over and over and over again. So we talked about the negativity of Xander Bogarts and his lack of ability to hit a baseball not in the infield. I did see something on Twitter. Twitter last night was incensed. It was incensed. It was crazy. I did see last night somebody post. I don't know what this character is. I don't know what this cartoon is. It's like a turtle with like these wide eyes, like really afraid.
okay. Oh,
And the caption was like the infield grass every time Xander Bogarts comes up. I was dying. That was so funny.
It's that also, and
So funny.
And as I put on our sheet here, can we discuss for a second Randy Vasquez? I understand you don't want him facing guys third time through the order. I get it. And he gave up 3 runs, which would have been no runs if Andy Pajes wasn't in the game. Why is a starting pitcher, when I brought it up last night, gets these out of the game? He's given up runs. He's given up hits. They're hitting him all over the ballpark. All I got back in return was, oh, well, they're trying to save the bullpen. Randy Vasquez threw 68 pitches last night. You could have saved the bullpen there. It's not like you're at the back end of his leash. He threw 68 pitches. And the only runs he gave up were to Andy Pajes. Let the kid pitch.
The only hits he gave up to were Andy Pajes and Freddie Freeman. Everybody else, I mean, he mowed down Ohtani.
Let the kid pitch.
He did. He looked pretty good. I didn't mind Vasquez. And, I loved it last night hitting. I mean, we're going to get into that too. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
This guy's your number 3 starter going into the season. He pitched before Pivetta did.
I mean, he's really the number 5 starter.
I get it. But when you look at the rotation and how it started out, he was your number 3 starter. You won't let him pitch a 3rd time through the lineup?
Well, now he's like your number 2 starter. We talked about all the negative. All right, so they should have had Vasquez pitch a little bit longer. Estrada was not on his game. Bogarts was awful. Arise didn't come up clutch. Sheets in the big moment didn't come up clutch either. They missed the grand slam by like 2 inches. I mean, it is overall, you would have thought they lost by 15 runs last night. I even tweeted this out. I was like, I cannot believe this is even still a game. I can't believe it. So I mentioned last night on Twitter, I said, I'm going to talk about, tune in at 10 o'clock. We're going to talk about some of the positives. I wanted to get all the negatives out right now. This is your time. Just unload it, unleash it in the chat. Toxic, blah, get it all out there.
We're trading Xander Bogarts next segment.
Oh, yeah, we are?
We're trading Xander Bogarts next
Did you find a trade for him?
I found 3.
Wow.
We're trading Xander Bogarts.
Okay. We're trading Xander Bogarts. I can't wait to see what the return is. There are a lot of positives you could pull out of this as well. We're going to talk about the positives in the show. We're going to talk about Dave Roberts gaslighting everybody, thinking like his organization is like the darlings of Major League Baseball, which is such a crock of what. And there's a lot of other things that I noticed yesterday. And again, when you break down the games and you start breaking down some of these games against the Dodgers, honestly, they're not that far off from beating them. I had a duck just in case somebody wanted to throw something at me. I'm going to explain to you why, despite all the negative vomit, I just exploded into the microphone and over the airwaves and into your cars and maybe into your headphones. There are reasons to be optimistic about the, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's got nothing to do with Xander. It's got nothing to do with Luis Arraez. It has nothing to do with the batting order, anything like that. We'll talk about it when we come back and continue on in this 10 o'clock hour. We're just getting started. Frank Marchese, Braden Surprenant, fun show planned in front of you. We're gonna talk you guys off the ledge, but sometimes you gotta let it out. You gotta let it out. That's what we did in the first segment. We're gonna flip it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number 1 sports station 97.3 The Fan. Went a little long in the first segment. Had to get a lot of things off our chest. 10:25 on a wonderful Wednesday, Frank. Wing Wednesday? Anybody getting wings today?
Wingy Wednesday.
Wingy Wednesday. If you want to join the show today and let it air out, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I want to talk about some of the positives, but we also don't have, like, a lot of time. So maybe we do what Frank teased going to break. Frank's been making calls for A.J. Preller. He's been out there for the betterment of the Padres and for the wonderful fans out there.
I think for the benefit of Xander Bogarts at this point.
Yeah, that's also
for his
true.
Safety.
For his safety, might be 100% on that. Frank Marchese has gotten some deals. He's gotten 3 offers for Xander Bogarts. They just need to be stamped for approval.
Exactly right.
And so he is going to pitch the 3 trades that he found for Xander Bogarts and see if we give him a stamp of approval. Take it away, Frank. What did you find?
So knowing that you're going to need to eat a bad contract, because that's the only way you're getting rid of him. You have to eat a bad contract. You don't have a lot of prospect capital to sweeten the deal. And, there's also no guarantee that anyone else wants Xander. Xander Bogarts currently has 9 years, $229 million left on his deal. You have 3 options from what I saw looking through the league, excluding the division, because you're not going to trade him in the division. There are teams like Oklahoma, Tampa Bay.
He just really wanted to say
that don't. Well, no, I'm making the point that you don't have that they don't have the contracts that you would need in order to make a deal like this happen. So I have 3 options here. You can trade him to Boston. You can trade him back home. The only problem is you would have to take on Trevor Story. Trevor Story right now has 3 years, $75 million with a club option in 2028.
Isn't he playing better?
Yeah, he is, unfortunately. You can also send him to Houston. You can send him to Houston for Jose Altuve, who has 4 years and $92 million left on his contract. Even though the last 2 years of his contract, he's only making $13 million each of those years. Also, and I think this is the most likely because it's the closest money for money value. You can trade him to Minnesota for Carlos Correa, who has 7 years, $166 million, and a bad foot left on his contract.
And he's also hitting 241.
Yeah.
Which is you're just basically trading for Xander Bogarts again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. Actually, Bogarts is actually hitting better than Trevor Story.
Yeah.
They're the same player. So you essentially you have to trade Xander Bogarts to another team for Xander Bogarts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Anyone interested? No?
Yes.
All right. Well,
everybody see the movie National Treasure? Not that it shouldn't be done, but it can't be done. It just cannot be done. It can't be done.
Hold on. Xander Bogarts trade offer. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It cannot be done. Can't be done. Can't be done. I was looking at the league leaders. There's not, aside from like super young shortstops, there's not a lot of shortstops out there that are really doing insane amount of damage. And again, as Wood said, and I totally agree, it's either him, Iglesias, who's banged up, Tyler Wade, and he keeps saying Mason McCoy. I'm pretty sure he's on the injured list.
McCoy is on the IL.
So you can't even use McCoy. So it's basically Tyler Wade or Iglesias or Bogarts every single day. And defensively, Bogarts is the guy that is a better option than both Wade every day and Iglesias every day.
Yep. And because you don't have the draft capital and because he's still owed too much over too long a period of time, you can't move him because there's no money for money offer out there that you can take on.
How about USD Torero Chase Mydroth having the 5th best batting average of a shortstop in Major League Baseball?
Go get him.
For the White Sox.
I'm sure the White Sox would not mind eating $25.5 million over the next decade.
Yeah, I didn't say trade for him. I just said, how about it? Again, you can't get rid of him. And cutting him. I laid that out yesterday. I don't really want to spend too much time. If you want to see it, it's on my Twitter about everything.
Yep. By the way, buddy, that's the point.
That's the point.
Yep,
It's the whole point of the argument.
That is the point here. You can't trade Xander Bogarts.
No. So he's on your team. Again, I mean, it is what it is. That's why I keep saying it is what it is. There's nothing more you can do about that. Anyway. So we got that out of the way. Reasons to be positive about the Padres. Again, you can either be positive about it and have hope for the season, or you could just just stop watching. I mean, go ahead. You can just stop watching. If you really don't think anything is going to change. I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple of things that work out for the Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 10:36 on a Wednesday. Hoping it's a win Wednesday for the Padres. They'll play at 7:10 tonight. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 6:10. I'm into the whole 24-hour rule thing. I think that's very important. You got to sleep a lot of these things off. You get emotional, you start making rash decisions, start saying rash things. I don't know how Sam does it. Frank, I don't know how you used to do it with Sam. Instant comments.
Do you want
within 24 hours? I mean, people, we talk to people still within the 24 hours, but enough where they've slept off a lot of the emotion.
Do you want me to be brutally honest with you? I have a feeling Sam's going to text me right now if he's listening.
All right.
Especially when he was on the road. If the Padres had a bad loss.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no calls in tonight.
No calls.
Sorry.
I'm not
Sorry
taking any
about
calls.
that.
We're not taking any calls.
I didn't see any come up. My bad.
Oh, yeah. That does happen sometimes. When he's not here, when he's in the...
Yeah, when he's in the loft.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I can't do that here because he can see it.
Right. So anyway, you gotta sleep it off. I had to sleep it off last night. But even last night, as the game was going on, there was a lot of things that you could look at last night where it's not as bad as you think. Some of it was stemmed actually from Frank, because Frank and I were texting. And Frank said it, and it totally makes sense. I mean, you got to start looking at everything in reality. And as much as people that are negative like to say it's like they think they're in a reality scape, they're really like on this far end of the spectrum. Just like super negative. And then there's like the overly positive people. Although I haven't seen too many of those in recent. And then there's the middle. And so when you take a look overall at the San Diego Padres in 2025, there are a couple problems that they have, but I think that would drastically change the outcome of their team. Let's talk about the series against the Dodgers in general. Frank, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you remember what you said yesterday in a text about the Padres-Dodgers series, like starting at the beginning of the year? You were like, it shouldn't be a shock to people that the Padres are not beating the Dodgers right now.
Exactly. No, it's every year. They never beat them in the regular season.
Except for last year. Then they lost them in the playoffs. But Frank brought that up, and immediately I went back to when the Dodgers made the moves that they made this offseason, right? And just continue to load up on their team. I was like, I didn't even want to watch the Padres-Dodgers series. And I think with the 7-0 start that the Padres had and the 14-3 start they had to the season, you start to forget what the expectations were for the season at the beginning of the year. Not to say you can change them. You can't change them as the season goes on. Not to say you can ask for more. But I remember during the offseason, I was like, how are they even going to compete with LA? Which immediately went into, okay, doesn't really matter if they win the division. You just got to make the postseason. And you got to beat them in a 5-game series. That's what they did in 2022. If you want to win a World Series. So, again, you can't evaluate just the Padres-Dodgers game like it's the outcome of the season. And like, oh, freak out. It did point out some instances in which the Padres do need to upgrade their roster. But from that perspective, like these games, even though they're very emotionally important, I get super upset when they hit Tatis and then we hit Shohei back and Dave Roberts acting a fool and the sinister sling and all that BS that they pull. And it gets under our fans' skin. You see in Dodger fans cheer when anytime a Padres player is hurt. I mean, just sickening stuff out of Dodger fans. So it heightens the intensity more. I mean, it's we got to win these guys, got to win these games, got to win these guys. That's literally what we sound like. You have to understand, again, you got to beat them in a 5-game series in the playoffs. It's not that big of a deal. And some of this I talked about yesterday. You look at the wild card race, it's a joke, guys. The Padres are better than the teams they're competing with in the wild card race. And if you say, like, well, we need this guy and this guy and this guy, and go watch other games. Go ahead. Go watch other games. I want you to watch other teams. Find a way to watch other teams and watch them play and be like, this team is so much better than the Padres. They're not. Because guess what? When you watch the games against the Dodgers, Better Woods brought this up. I mean, they were close to it, right? Like, oh, it's the closest thing. They used the term I'm not familiar with. I'm sure it had some type of innuendo. I don't even want to say it because I don't know what it means. But aside from Monday's game, every single one of these games was closer than you would think. I mean, last night, they were inches away from a grand slam from Gavin Sheets. I mean, inches away from a grand slam that could have flipped the game. They left about 1,000 people on base. They had Estrada have a bad outing because he got that poor guy's been pitching almost every single day. Again, I mentioned in the open it was unacceptable that he wasn't able to go out there and the guy's been overworked because the bullpen's been overworked because their starting pitching's a little banged up. But despite how poorly the Padres played, how poorly they hit with runners in scoring position, they were within 2 runs after they were down, was it 8-3? Dodgers took an 8-3 lead. They still chipped away at it, and they had a potential to win the game last night that had no business being it. Shohei even went 0 for 4. I mean, you did well against the top of the lineup. The bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers does all the damage against the Padres, it seems like. It's Pajez, it's like Kike Hernandez, it's like Max Muncy. It's all of the players that Dodger fans bitch about every day. They bitch about all those guys every day. As much as Padres fans bitch about Xander Bogarts, Dodger fans are bitching about Max Muncy and Andy Pajez. I mean, I was with Dodger fans on Monday. They were like, this guy is awful at the beginning of the year. I don't know what he's doing right now that drastically turned around. They wanted him off the team at the beginning of the year. So again, they were close in every one of those games. Those games are close. It's not like they are 15 players away. People were freaking out yesterday going like, the Padres are like 6 players away and they can't compete with these. They're competing with them. They're just not winning right now. It'd be one thing if they're just getting their ass kicked like it was 2013. They're not. Aside from Monday, they were a couple plays away from winning every one of those games, and they just couldn't get the job done. Now, that's what the good teams get the job done and find a way to win. But that being said, those games are closer than you think. And if that is the best team money can buy, and that's what you're competing with, why would you be worried about having to compete with the Reds and everything? Like, it's just immediate doom for no reason. For no reason. We can't win. We don't have this guy. We don't have this guy with this guy. We need AJ Preller to make this move. We got to get rid of this guy. Relax. They are not 6 players away from making the playoffs. That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. It's absurd. They are a couple of pieces away from being a very good team. People always want to say, which will lead to my other example here. People always complain that it seems like the Dodgers players, everybody the Dodgers get becomes great. Becomes great. Well, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have no pressure to go out there and perform because they're surrounded by great talent. And for anybody that's ever played sports, understands this. A lot of people in the YouTube chat will just like not even, they don't even understand what I'm talking about right now. But when you're surrounded by good talent, it lifts everybody in the lineup. It does. I mean, Andy Paz is surrounded by incredible talent. He doesn't have to worry about going up there and getting the job done. That's for any baseball player. How did the Padres do when they were missing 3 guys out of their core 6? Even Machado sucked. I mean, he was awful. I mean, people were ready to write him off right before he went on a little bit of a hot streak. That's not saying he's a bad baseball player because he can't play when he's the only guy. I mean, put any of those players on the Dodgers, just one of them on the Rockies, and see if they just overperform everybody else. No, it will be too much for them. They will not be at the highest level that they're at. When you're surrounded by great talent, it's the tides raise all ships attitude. It takes pressure off everybody. They know that they don't have to go get the job done. When Manny's hitting his best, he knows he doesn't have to be the guy. He's got other guys around him. And right now, the top of your order has all the pressure in the world because they know if it's not them, nobody behind them is getting the job done. I mean, nobody. Look at the 2022 San Diego Padres roster when they were in the playoffs. That roster did not have a bunch of all-stars on it, but that roster had a lot of good talent on it. And you had guys in spots that they should be playing at. Like on a playoff team, the 7 and 8 hitters should be Xander Bogaerts and Jake Cronenworth. Xander Bogaerts is batting 5th. How many times have I already said it earlier in the show, how many times I have to answer the question, why is Xander Bogaerts batting 5th? I don't know, because he's the 5th best option you have right now to bat 5th? Or to bat in the order? He's the 5th best guy on the team, hitting-wise. People are going to freak out. I can't. That's the reality, folks. He's still better than the guys hitting behind him. Is he a number 5 hitter on any playoff team in baseball? No, he's not. He's probably batting 7th, 8th, or even 9th on good teams. The Padres don't have a talent problem. They have a depth problem. They don't have Jackson Merrill in the lineup right now. That makes a huge difference just adding him to the order. You add Jackson Merrill to the order, everybody bumps down another spot. The Padres at the deadline, again, and I think we've gotten a little bit too privileged in the sense that A.J. Preller is just making these big whim changes. The Padres don't need 3 studs. They just need 3 average to slightly better than average players, and it would do wonders for that lineup. I mean, Brandon Drury had a good year that year that the Padres acquired him. He wasn't an all-star. He was like an average. He's like a slightly above average player. Made a huge difference in that lineup. Josh Bell. That's another guy. And if you look at, and Darnay Tripp did a great job. I'm going to give a shout out to Darnay. I don't even know if he's listening or not. And looking at all the players that the Padres have acquired at the deadline, whose WRC plus immediately shrunk on the Padres, and yet they were still competing at a high level on those teams. I mean, you can say what you want about the 2022 team. That lineup was good. If you think the lineup sucked after they beat the Dodgers and everything like that, I don't know what you're on, but that's probably some good stuff. And every one of those players that were acquired, their WRC plus went down when they joined the Padres. You don't need 3 great, insane players. You just need a couple of good players. I don't need Adley Rutschman to play catcher for the Padres. You just need somebody slightly better than average, or just average. You could talk about last year. This is another reason why I think it's like, I don't need to freak out about this. I mean, this was us literally every day last year until game 100. They were a 500 team. And they went on a roll in the second half. They didn't even make major upgrades. They had guys like David Peralta and Donovan Solano and Kyle Higashioka. Those guys are not superstars. Those guys are not even like close to being all-stars. They're just average players. The Padres have below average players in Jose Iglesias, in their catching position, in their left field position. And you start racking those up, it puts more pressure on the top of the lineup to go, I got to go get the job done right now. Anybody that's never played sports has no idea what I'm talking about. But the people that do understand. That goes a long way. So you see it with the Dodgers all the time. I hate comparing the Padres to the Dodgers, a little bit different. But I'm going to tell you right now, you start adding other players to the order, Arise will be better, Xander will be better, Manny will be better, Fernando will be better, Jake Cronenworth will be better. Nobody's ever on Jake Cronenworth's ass, but he would be better. If AJ at the deadline goes out there and acquires 3 bats that are equivalent to the 2021 Braves. Again, that was not, they did not give up a lot for that. The Padres will be contending in the playoffs. Now, the pitching side is a little bit different. If Michael King doesn't come back, they're in a world of hurt. I don't think you can fix that problem. But from an offensive standpoint, that's what you have to look at. It's just that there's a couple of average players. The Padres right now have below average catchers. They have a below average left field platoon. I mean, Lockridge is a below average player. Tyler Wade is a below average player. Jose Iglesias is a below average player. I mean, you start adding all these pieces, they're slightly better than the awful players that they had in the aging veterans and Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter and Yuli Gurriel, who actually was this year. They're looking for some average players. That's why you have to understand from the grand scheme of things. Again, this series is important to a lot of fans. Padres, Dodgers. It's important to me as a San Diego. You hate LA. I hate everything they do in LA. It'd be nice to stick it to them for all the BS that they pull. But again, you keep looking at the tree. You got to look at the entire forest here. I mentioned who you're playing with. I mentioned who you're playing against for a wild card spot. They're not world beater teams. They're not teams that could go get all this immense talent. They're teams that you're currently better than right now. And you just got to find a way to get in the playoffs. And they're in a way better position right now than they were last year at this time. I mean, they're still only 5 games out of a division spot. Again, the division is extra. Did anybody in January think the Padres would be well within 5 games of the division in June? The answer is no. Not one person, except for maybe Prolific that said we'd win 96 games. Not one person thought that was even possible. And last year at this time, everybody wanted the Padres to sell at the deadline and then praise the Padres when they made the playoffs and ended up winning the first series. So again, last night was hard. It was frustrating to watch. I went to bed upset. It was like watching an NFL football game. But like I've said multiple times, you can't view it as NFL games. Give it the 24 hours. Start looking at everything in between. And for everybody that says, like, well, what can we trade? Stop listening to just MLB Pipeline and some of these reporters. What you guys don't know and what we don't know is how every organization values the Padres prospects. We don't know. I've talked to people that have told me that some organizations think the Padres have a top 10 farm system. I don't care if they're right or wrong. All I care about is if the team that the Padres want to make a trade with finds some players that they can use in the future. And a lot of the teams that are bad are looking for depth pieces that could be major leaguers that could fill in. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think. We'll continue that when we can move into the 11 o'clock hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, standing on Someone Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. Hopefully a winning Wednesday for the San Diego Padres. We got 2 tickets to give away to Padres Nationals coming up on June 23rd. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Fernando Tatis Jr. bat flip bobblehead. Get tickets at Padres.com/tickets. Our baseball coverage on 97 through the Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. We will be giving away the tickets in the 1 o'clock hour like we did yesterday. Anyway. You have gotten some people that like the generic music that we can play on YouTube in between the breaks. You got people that don't like it. Not going to please everybody.
Would you rather go back to nothing? Because I could do that. It's just one less button for me to press.
It's one less thing for us to do. We could do that. Do you want to write songs for us instead?
Yeah,
unlicensed.
I'll get right on that.
No, I want the guy to.
I will get.
The guy complaining
right
about it should write me some music. See how it is. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I've laid out reasons to be positive about this Padres team. Okay, again, you can't overreact about a lot of these things. And again, they'll go on a winning streak here eventually and some other things. But like I said before, we had people yesterday in the YouTube chat freaking out saying like you're 6 players away from being good. That's not even close to being true. You're a couple of average players away. You have a lot of below average players on your team that you got to get out of your lineup and move things around a little bit. I do agree with that. And it will do wonders for the organization. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to La Mesa where Derek wants to weigh in. Derek, what's going on, man? Uh-oh. Put the wrong one on there. Hang on. Derek should have you now. What's going on?
Hey,
there we
you got
go.
me, bro?
Got you.
All right, man. Hey, brother. I hear the frustration in your voice, and I get it. I think the reality of it is a lot of Padre fans, as you guys like to say, don't know ball. Okay, here's the reality. The Los Angeles Dodgers are a better baseball team than the San Diego Padres. Now, does that mean that the Padres can't beat them in a series? Of course it doesn't. That's why you play the game. The Padres just have to get into the dance. But this overreaction and people freaking out, people look at the rosters. The Dodgers are a better baseball team. What do you want? The games are competitive. The Padres have to beat everybody else. As you said, this is a wild card team. That's what it is.
This call will be recorded.
What else do you want? Complete overreaction. People relax. The Dodgers are a good team. I hate Los Angeles as much as everybody else does, but they're a good team. They're a really good team. And that's just the way it is. Sorry.
Derek, spitting the reality out there. Former baseball player for the Aztecs. Yes.
And to be honest, we're getting more frustrated with the chat and everything that we're seeing, all the negativeness. It's not necessarily that we're getting down on the team. It is frustrating to watch sometimes, but it's the frustration that come from having to fight this chat off every single day.
I know for the people that are like, well, they got to get into the dance first. They're better than the teams that they're competing with right now. I mean, they are. I mean, if you don't think the Padres are better than the Reds, I mean, it's just unnecessary freaking out for no reason. It's like you enjoy the freak out more than anything else. Oh, well, we had a guy for there for a second. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Again, you can't overreact to the series against Los Angeles. It does tell you some things you need to improve on. But at the end of the day, you got to beat them in a 5-game series. Best of 5-game series is what you got to beat the Dodgers in. And you got to do it in the playoffs. And they did that in 2022. And they're close to doing that last year. I mean, the Padres won the season series against LA last year and then lost in the playoffs. What would you rather do? I'd rather beat them in the playoffs. It's June 18th. It's June 18th. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Tom in San Diego, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Tom?
Hey there. I just wanted to posit something that I would do were I AJ Preller.
All right.
Here's what I would do. I would stand pat. I wouldn't trade all the assets that you've got in the minor leagues for a rental player or a player this year. I would stand pat and hope that Darvish and King come back. And if the Padres make the playoffs, good. See how far they can go. I would better plan for 2027, 2028 when Leo DeVries and the catcher should be coming up and the young pitchers that they've got, because I think this team really has gone about as far as it can. And I would not mortgage the future just to try to get into the playoffs or assure you're getting into the playoffs this year.
Well, Tom, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, I don't think they need to be getting overly zealous on that. I wouldn't really stand pat though. You got to. If they don't improve the left field, I mean, they're not gonna do anything. You know, I think they're gonna have to make the playoffs. But if you want to win in the playoffs, you definitely need a left fielder, and you definitely need some, like I said, average players. Average players. You don't need a bunch of Juan Sotos. You don't need. I'm trying to think of other like big deadline deals. You need more like Josh Bells and Brandon Drury's and fringe move, adding on the fringes. The Eddie Rosarios of the world for the Braves back in the day. Some Jorge Solers from back in the day. Mike Tauchman, maybe. I mean, just fringe players is what you need. You don't need anything too crazy. You add a couple of those players, which isn't going to cost you a lot. Again. And I know where Kevin's going to go. I'm going to get to Kevin in a second. He's going to be like, we got nothing to trade. You don't know what we have to trade. Nobody in this chat knows what the Padres have to trade. Nobody. Nobody listening, unless you work for the Padres or you're making phone calls to general managers. Every single organization evaluates players. And they all have different evaluations for different players. I mean, you could go back and look at MLB Pipeline's like top 30 prospects for the Padres 6 years ago. And look at who is ranked at the top and who is ranked at the bottom. You can find players. I mean, there are players that have been lower there's been players that have panned out for major league teams that weren't even in the Pipeline's top 30 of the Padres organization that people freak out about. That I can't believe we traded this guy. We could have kept this guy. He wasn't even a top 30 player. The players that the other teams value it's a different list. So to say that the Padres don't have anything available, that they have things to trade. There are players that other organizations like for certain reasons more than just what MLB Pipeline says or what some of these other minor league, Baseball America and stuff. They evaluate. They do their own evaluations. They go like, we like these guys, but every organization is different. And again, they're big risks. I'm blanking on his name right now. Who was the closer for the Pirates, maybe the All-Star team that the Padres traded to Pittsburgh?
Bednar?
Yeah, David Bednar. Let me ask you this, Frank. What was the highest David Bednar was ranked in the Padres organization?
15th.
30th.
Oh, okay.
He was 30 1 year. And he got sent off for, was he in the Musgrove deal or something like that? He might have been in the Musgrove deal. I can't remember off the top of my head. AJ Preller makes so many trades. He was like number 30. They traded the 30th best prospect in the organization and got stuff back. Again, organizations value players differently. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Point Loma. Sean, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Yo, brother, I just want to bring up, why are the Padres missing out on their ground and pound? We got the bases loaded, 1 out, 2 days in a row. Just hit a base hit, and I'm watching these guys just swing for the fences, and I know it's Slam Diego, but play some baseball here and just ground and pound to get some runs in and start chipping away at it rather than swinging so hard at some of those pitches.
Yeah, they like we said earlier, Sean, you might have missed it. The meme of the scared turtle. Live look at the infield grass when the Padres come up. Most notably, Xander Bogaerts is beating the ball into the ground. I do that 3 times in softball, and I want to throw my bat halfway across the Poway Sportsplex. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Bob in San Juan Cap, at least the last time he called in. Bob, what's going on?
Hey, not too much, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing a lot better than
the
it was
thing I
last
have-
night. I can tell you that, Bob.
I know. It's two games in a row. Yeah, and Slam Diego, that's been gone for a while. So don't bring that up again. I got a question. Verizon, I know he's down in the minors. He's doing really well, and he's a shortstop. But I keep thinking back. What are the last 2 shortstops we've had that we moved to the outfield that are doing great? Fernando and Jackson. What if they put DeVries and start playing him in left field often now and then down in the minors? The minors are bringing him up, and he can either be a shortstop or he can maybe be our left fielder. Because it's like, we've got that's like a dead zone out there.
Well, it is like a dead zone out there, and unfortunately, he needs to. They haven't pulled him up to AA yet. He's got to pass the AA test, and then after that, then they would probably pull him up. He has made a lot of errors at shortstop, but he is the future shortstop of this organization. I mean, Xander's actually played pretty good defense at shortstop. His defensive WAR, according to Fangraphs, is top 10 in Major League Baseball for shortstops. I mean, people can argue with that if they want, but that's just the fact of the matter. So he's not atrocious at shortstop, but he is not the shortstop in the next 5 years. That's Leo. And they need a replacement for him at shortstop anyway, because Xander's not ever going to be able to do it. He's just not ready yet. Again, you got to go find some other stuff. Got to go find some average players. Again, if you find some average players, it's going to do wonders for that lineup. 833-288-1973. Appreciate the phone call, Bob. Let's get out to John at Valley Center. John, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Well, hey, good show. Listen, I think the Stowers kid from the Marlins would be a perfect fit for the Padres. I'd love to try to see them bring him in. What do you think it would cost us to do that?
The fact that he's younger, probably maybe more than you would think, but we had Matt Snyder on the show a month ago. You can find outfield help for relatively cheap. There's a lot of different outfielders that you can have play on your team. It's not going to cost you. The thing is he's not going to cost you DeVries, and he's not going to cost you Salas. So from that, it's not going to be expensive. To me, that's how I evaluate the org on some of those trades. If it doesn't cost you DeVries and it doesn't cost you Salas, it's cheap. I don't really care what they do with everybody else. Again, it's depth. I get that, and then you put there's some give and take to that. But again, you kept a guy like Camposano too. He was supposed to be that added depth. He didn't work out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. 833-288-0973. It would be nice to have the San Diego kid back with Stowers at a Christian High. Juan in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Braden? I wanted to ask if you thought this would be a good idea, not in a doom and gloom way, but if we traded Estrada for somebody, I don't know what we could get for Estrada. Not because of his performance last night, but because I think in general, the Padres have been pretty good at developing bullpen arms, and seemingly he could be replaceable with someone like Bradley Rodriguez or maybe even Francis Pena. I guess he's doing really well. And his fastball is at high 90s. Just wanted to get your thoughts.
I would rather trade, if I was going to trade a bullpen piece, I'd rather trade Robert Suarez because he can opt out at the end of the year, and he probably will, only making $10 million. But at the same time, I mean, unless you're trading a closer, you're not getting a whole lot out of trading a closer or out of trading a relief pitcher. Like, relief pitchers are not a lot. I mean, I know Enlo De Los Santos is not good. I understand that. He got you Brandon Lockridge. Like, it's not, you're not going to get it's not a big piece compared to a closer. Because again, if bullpen arms could go through the order multiple times, which is what people value, they'd be a starter. I mean, you can find a bunch of not. I think Estrada's a good pitcher. I think he's being overworked right now. And I don't think you can find other Estradas out there. It's not going to cost teams a fortune. So I like the idea like your head's at. You got some help in the bullpen. So trading a bullpen piece to help with an outfield, I think would be fine. But I don't think you're going to get a bunch of like prospect capital for a guy like Jeremiah Estrada. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to get back to your phone calls when we come back. We continue the show on the Braden Surprenant Show. If you haven't done so already, give us a follow. You can follow the show at B_Serp Show on social media. Follow me at B_SURP. You can follow the station 97 The Fan. Follow us on all social media platforms. If you haven't done so already, on the YouTube page, give us a like. On the YouTube, it really helps us out as well. So thanks again for joining us. When we come back, more of your phone calls. Trying to talk a lot of people off the ledge today when it comes to the San Diego Padres on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. 11:22. Some people in the chat get fooled by a lot of things, Frank.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Would never have guessed.
There's no validity to that, Will. I didn't want to say it on the air. No. That was remember that's the fake deal where they said the Padres got into a fight with each other? Remember that from a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Kevin Acey had to be like, that's not true.
Yeah.
That didn't actually happen. God.
So we said it yesterday. Social media has devolved from being right and accurate to being first at all costs. Whether you're right or wrong. Doesn't matter.
Our boy SB goes, if they sell and rebuild now, you can get back to the playoffs in 5 years if you make halfway smart moves and develop a few more guys internally. That's it.
He draws the foul.
Come on, brother. And then Manny Machado's what? 37, 35, 30? How old is he?
He's old enough to steal money from an organization.
Then the argument would be like, why is Manny still on the team? Stealing money. Bogarts is still on the team in that particular instance. Fernando would be 31, right? He's 26 right now.
That's prime still.
Yeah, just come on. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973.
Hold on. I didn't watch the television broadcast last night, so I want to be transparent there. Go Aztecs. You haven't had a reason to lie to me yet so far. Is that true that Brian Anderson said that Jake Cronenworth is struggling because he's transitioning from the outfield to the infield after Ha-Sung Kim left?
There's no way that's true.
You broadcast games.
That's no way that's true.
Do you study at all before games?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
For every hour you're on the air is an hour of prep.
I hope.
There's no way that's true.
I hope it's not. I really hope it's not.
Go Aztecs is lying. There's no way that's true. You cannot tell me that is real.
I hope it's not.
He also said that Dodgers got Tanner Scott in the offseason from the Padres, and Ron Darling had to correct him that he was a free agent. Does anybody else watch? That's what the thing is. Nobody watches our games. Nobody does.
Do you know that Fernando Tatis was the Padres' #1 catching prospect before they moved him to right field?
I could see why Padres fans don't like national broadcasts. I could see it. They're all kind of neutral in a sense. So any type of conversation about the other team is always going to trigger they love the other team. But some of those are just downright ridiculous.
Manny Machado came up in the White Sox organization as a first baseman. Did you know that?
Stop making up stuff. Stop making up stuff.
You're
going to confuse people. You're going to confuse people.
It's content for national television broadcasts, apparently.
You're going to confuse people. I don't mind you saying the most obvious things that you hear all the time, or the ones that you hear on MLB The Show.
Well, those are obviously wrong.
Do you know Antonio Gates played basketball in college? I love dropping that one, too. That one's great.
You know that Tony Gwynn had more assists in his 4 years at San Diego State than he had strikeouts in his major league career?
Wow. I don't have this year's copy of MLB The Show. I don't have time to play video games. I don't have time. My buddies do, and so they list everything that Shambi is saying about the individual players because they play it so much, all the ones that they get all the time. It's up there with the Antonio Gates thing. There's a lot of those. Now I'm blanking on some, like the most obvious sports things that you've heard in your life. You know Antonio Gates played basketball? You know Tony Gwynn played basketball? You know Tony Gwynn was drafted by the Clippers and the Padres on the same day?
Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
So many fun facts. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Bailey in Del Mar wants to talk about the catching situation. What's going on, Bailey?
Hi, Braden. So I know that our catching situation is not superb right now, and our slug situation is not superb right now, and that, trade deadline's coming. The Oakland Athletics currently carry 4 catchers on their active roster. They have a really solid young core, but what they are desperately in need of is pitching, pen, and starting arms with a little bit of control and a lot of reliability. And I think that Shea Langoliers, he's the same age as Adley Rutschman. You know, he's got a couple years of control left. I think that could be something that would be maybe a fruitful pursuit for Preller, and we might end up losing something like Sean Reynolds, Waldron, Pena, because they need pretty much ready to go arms. But that Shea Langoliers, he has a lot of slug. He works well with the pitching staff, and he's reliable and he's experienced, and that he might be an interesting pursuit.
I like the idea, Bailey. San Diego Padres have been linked to asking around about catchers. Obviously, Ethan Salas being banged up is a little, throwing things off a little bit for the future, but they do need a catcher that can swing. Again, they don't need like a guy that can rake. They just need relatively a guy that hits over 200, 220. If the catcher could hit 220, it'll be fine. But as you mentioned, and great, Bailey knows ball on that entire phone. That was a great phone call by Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey, call back whenever you feel like it. That was
Exactly.
fantastic.
In terms of pitchers you give up, yeah, like we talked about that on the roundtable last week. No roundtable tomorrow. We're off tomorrow. But, do you trade a Sean Reynolds or a Ryan Bogert for a potential catcher? That's not a bad idea. And I know AJ Preller's asking around. He's doing his due diligence. That's kind of like the rumor that the Padres asked about Rafael Devers. We saw that report. AJ Preller's constantly doing his homework. So if they got 4 catchers ready to go, and here's the other thing with the A's. Like, the A's have been following the Spanos playbook to an extent. They want to hit and get off and running when they're in Vegas. So that's kind of the timeline. Anybody that is not going to help them in Vegas, to me, in the A's organization, should probably be traded for future players that can help you in Vegas. So I could see that being part of the deal. Yeah, you can listen to SB too. I mean, go pick up Austin Barnes. That was a good phone call by Bailey.
That's the difference between knowing ball and not knowing ball, that what you just said between Bailey and SB in the chat.
Somebody put their name on it. Someone's got a fake name. One called in, you hear their voice. The other, you have no idea.
And we actually got a comprehensive plan out of Bailey. That was fantastic.
That was well thought out. Could be a topic on Friday's show, since we're off tomorrow. We got to take a quick break. I do want to take your phone calls. We're going to get to the sports thread. We haven't even gotten into the whole Dave Roberts BS. That was ridiculous last night. We're going to talk about that coming up later on the show, probably at noon. We will be giving away tickets to the Padres game next Monday that we'll give away in the 1 o'clock hour. But when we come back, we'll continue to discuss about the San Diego Padres, take more of your phone calls as we try to find a different spot. What do you think about trading for Shane Langoliers? Not a bad idea. I like it. We'll talk more about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn and Chris on the Fan.
Midweek show coming up. We'll wrap up the second game of Dodgers Padres and get ready for the third. Also, we may have a new Stanley Cup champ.
Listen to Quinn and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan.
Play your best at Singing Hills Golf Club. Immerse yourself with 3 newly renovated courses featuring pristine views of the beautiful Dehesa Valley.
The Teal Chickens. Coastal Carolina's taking a 5-0 lead on Louisville, bottom of the first inning. Coastal Carolina's not lost since when, Frank? Do we know? Remember?
I do not remember. No. Oh, make it 6-0.
6-0.
Hit up the middle, rounding third on his way to score. Throw is cut off. 6-0 Coastal.
You're about to get a cease and desist for disseminating.
We're live streaming, man. I can do commentary over live stream as long as we're not showing it.
That's true. To an extent. I thought I don't even know their coach's name, but the whole everybody say it with me. It's Chanticleers. Chanticleers.
That's what I said.
Chanticleers.
So I said teal chicken.
Yeah. The chandeliers, right? Chandeliers? Chanticleers? Teal chickens. The Chanticleers. Yeah, we got it, dude. Put the fries in the bag. I have been told that we should probably not use the fries in the bag. Is that overplayed now? Is that too much? We've overused the fries in the bag. Kids moved on to the different thing now.
I don't know. So I remember when I
gotta
was
stay on my toes.
When I remember when I was growing up, when people our age started using something that we said unironically, it was instantly out then.
I gotta stick to DSG, dude, in the chat. He says all the things that the kids that I coach say, and then I say them just to piss them off.
Trying to fit in with the youths, like that's all we're trying to do.
Okay, big dog. Okay, Unc. Unc still got it. Got all those all the time. All that stuff.
Nate Taylor in the chat. So 2024.
That's true, Nate.
It's probably so May. Like
it's true, Nate. Hey, you know what? The things that keep me youthful. Coaching high school kids, seeing what Divine Sports Gospel tweets out. Those are the two things. Probably can't use a lot of those things in the press box. But you know what? Chanticleers. We got it, OG. We got it, OG. Big dog. Chanticleers. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We might have to call Kevin OG, man. Kevin in Chula Vista, is he OG?
Been calling ever since
I know he
started
calls
working
himself Unc. I can't call him Uncle for Unc. Maybe OG. Let's get to OG Kevin in Chula Vista. I might be too young for Kevin to understand. Kevin, what's going on, OG?
What the hell is an OG rating?
I knew it. I knew he wouldn't know.
I
That
know,
is the
man.
best answer I've gotten out of Kevin in Chula Vista ever. What in the hell is an OG? You know what it is,
What the
Kevin?
hell is an OG?
You're OG now. You're my OG. That's what
Okay.
we got. What do we
Whatever,
got
just
here?
Okay, just don't call me late for dinner. And look, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Okay, this is for Frank. Go get Scraby, and I want Scraby to go down to that bus terminal that keeps getting advertised on the ATT commercial. I didn't know. I don't think they have one.
I don't think they have one either.
So get Scraby. Just get Scraby. I want to see him on I-5 South. He can stop at my house in Chula Vista, and I'll give him some Gatorade. And we'll send him on down. And I want to know if that damn thing actually exists, because every single day we are bombarded with that commercial. Come on, guys. Don't we have something better? Let's talk about Kool-Aid or cupcakes or God knows what else. But we're tired of that commercial. But having said that,
we've been talking about Hamby doing some man on the street stuff for us. Maybe we send him down there.
yeah, okay, whoever.
That'll be our
We need to
commercial break
verify-
next week.
Yeah, and if anybody out there in the chat or because I know that's the big thing now, or wants to call in, can you verify whether or not there's a TJ bus terminal, a central TJ bus terminal? I'm not aware of that one, but I could be wrong. But what the hell? So Braden, let me get back to business here if I can.
All right, OG.
So, okay, OG.
We got it.
Listen, I did not say the Padres did not have anything to trade. What I said is that name it. And I like the caller, what was her name? Bailey? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Made up a real good one, and she gets called a day in my book. I can't argue with that. But I'm going back to what Kevin AC said, and unless you disagree with Kevin AC, that let us know. AC said, "Don't expect much. Padre fans need to temper their expectations because of the depth of need, the quantity of need is such that one trade by itself is not going to solve all the problems." So having said that, let me ask you this. So going back to your comments about the organization having talent in the pipeline, look, they had all of that talent in the pipeline that was there during the offseason, couldn't find a left fielder, couldn't find a catcher, couldn't find other players that they needed to supplement that roster. They ended up dumpster diving. So, that's an answer to it. What was the need? What did other people want? They wanted Dylan Cease, Michael King, DeVries, and or Salas. Those were the four names always mentioned in possible trades. That's what I'm going off of. Now, if there's some thing that comes out of the universe that AJ's able to pull off, God bless him. He needs that. He needs that blessing at this point because he's got a mess on his hands. Read Tom Krasovic's column this morning. He has proclaimed that the Padres are not going to the playoffs. That's what he said, based upon the facts. And the facts right now is the trend line on this team since middle of that's what we're working off of now. We're working off of an established trend line that this team is well below 500. They've got a really rough schedule in the next month and a half. You know, who knows? Here's the problem. You've got the injuries. And at some point in time, Yu Darvish needs to figure out whether Yu Darvish can ever pitch again. That's where we're at with Yu Darvish. We need to have some clarity on that. The team needs that. If he is so banged up and injured that all he can do is soft toss or pretend that he's pitching in a warm-up session in the bullpen, how much longer is this going to take? Because this team desperately needs Yu Darvish back, desperately. And if he's not capable or ready, then get him into the operating room, whatever it takes, get him healthy right off the year, and let's go find someone else. I mean, I'm getting tired of this runaround that we get from the Padres relative to Yu Darvish especially. And now we've got this mystery of Michael King that we can't figure out. And this is killing this team. That's the problem. And I don't see solutions coming along that can fix all of the holes in the dike. That's, call it whatever you want. That's reality. It's not being negative or positive. It's looking at what we are, here we are, and you got this core six. How many World Series has the core six won for us?
Well, they haven't won anything, but at the same time, the Dodgers have gone to the playoffs how many times in the last 15 years and have won World Series to speak of. So, I mean, the winning the World Series thing it's very difficult to do once you make the playoffs. This team is a playoff team. I definitely disagree with Tom Krasnovic. Does he watch any of the other teams? I mean, watch the other teams in Major League Baseball and tell me that they are better than the Padres right now. The Reds better than the Padres? The Reds' highest paid player is Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez is their highest paid player. I mean, you tell me that team is better than the Padres? Come on, man. Now, Kevin outlaid a lot of stuff, okay? And he was saying it's the same thing last year. I mean, last year the Padres were worse. And everybody said they should sell, and they ended up flipping it around. So here's some of the things where I disagree with Kevin on when it comes to the trades. Now, just the offseason is where you get more talent back for players, and you can ask for a lot because they don't have the pressure of the deadline. Like the deadline is these guys are on expiring contracts. We got to get rid of XYZ, or we need to get rid of this player. You're not getting as good of deals at the deadline as much as you are during the offseason. That's for anybody in terms of like prospect capital back or anything like that. That's why most of those big moves like that happen during the offseason. You get more during the offseason than during the regular season. The other thing the Padres tend to do a lot, and Kevin has brought this up multiple times, and I do agree with this, they wait to the last minute to make it to change their team. Where he could have made all these moves during the offseason and have to worry about it instead of cram for the test of the deadline. They've done that almost every single year with A.J. Preller at the helm. They tend to do that. I don't necessarily think that's the best way to approach it. I agree with Kevin in that sense. But the reality of the situation is, again, for everything that's potentially available on the market, the Padres have players to trade in this market coming up because other teams will evaluate your team differently. Everybody evaluates differently. And there's, like I said before, the gems are in there for other teams. But there's obviously a lot. I don't agree with there's all of these problems. I don't think there's as many of those problems as you would think. Now, Kevin Acee said in his article about you're not making a big splash, which is fair, but they're going to add on the margins. Like Dennis Lin said they were going to be very active during the offseason. During the trade deadline. So Dennis Lin's saying they're going to be very active. Kevin Acee is telling Padres fans to limit their expectations. But I think that's more in the sense of don't expect a player like Juan Soto to be dealt. You're going to be getting on fringe players that are average to above average players that are going to try to help the organization. So, yes, they are both right in that sense. You're not going to get a big echelon player, and the Padres are still going to be active at the deadline. Any disagreements with that, Frank?
No, not at all.
I think both of them are correct. I think based on what AC has written and what Lynn has written, that's how I'd interpret that. Would you interpret that any other way?
No.
Yeah,
I would not.
Thank you. Dylan, Magic, and Jamie, we're going to get to you after we get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got today? By the way, I was dying. Call it Kevin and Chula Vista OG. What the hell does OG mean? Exactly, Kevin.
Perfect response.
That was great.
Even if you did know what it was, that was
That's
perfect
so
response.
funny.
Number 1.
The Indiana Fever clinched a spot in the Commissioner's Cup championship game with an 88-71 win over the Connecticut Sun yesterday. But the feat was overshadowed by a pair of scuffles, including a fight in the final minute that led to the ejections of 3 players. With 46.1 seconds remaining, the Fever's Sophie Cunningham committed a hard foul on the Suns' J.C. Sheldon as she attempted to do a breakaway layup, with an altercation ensuing between the players and eventually enveloping teammates, coaches, and security as they tried to quell the tensions. Cunningham was hit with a flagrant foul too, and an immediate ejection. Sheldon and teammate Lindsey Allen were deemed as escalators in the incident, according to the official Ashley Gloss. In the post-game pool report, and both players were ejected for fighting. Now, this all stemmed from the unnecessary amount of hard fouls that Caitlin Clark had against her during the game. Should this be something that the officials really have to step in on a little bit more forcefully before it gets to this level?
When Caitlin Clark getting batted around, or just
she got hit. She got hit all last year, and now is getting this the first time this year it's really happening.
Do we agree with Chris Ello saying she is one of the most dirty players he's ever seen?
I don't watch WNBA.
I don't watch the WNBA either. Apparently, I mean, I don't know. Chris Ello says Caitlin Clark is a dirty player. And so if she's a dirty player, then a lot of this stuff's going to come about. I mean, I don't watch it closely enough to know, but I'm just saying, like, you look at the WNBA, I don't know why, and maybe, I'm talking out both sides of my mouth right now.
I mean, it doesn't
but Major League Baseball, like, protects Ohtani. He's, like, the most important thing to their league. As you can tell by the TV ratings when Caitlin Clark was not playing, she is the most important thing to that league.
She got smacked in the face.
Why are you not protecting your most important asset in the league? Like, you should be doing that. She's the best player. Or at least the most marketable, the one that drives TV ratings, Ohtani drives all the ratings. He's protected, except for last night. He got hit by a pitch.
Oh, no.
But he is protected. So why isn't the WNBA protecting Caitlin Clark, or at least stepping in? I mean, she got fouled, and then it was a dirty foul. She got hit in the face, and then she goes like, what the heck? And then the girl flops, and then she gets wrecked. And she gets a tech. It made no sense.
It's amazing how even all last year, and her teammates rarely stuck up for her last year too. So that didn't help things out either.
Number 2.
For the first time since September 30th, 2023, Nick Castellanos was not in the Philadelphia Philly lineup yesterday, but not because of an injury or being given a day off. Castellanos was not put in the lineup after an inappropriate comment was made when he was pulled from Monday's game towards manager Rob Thompson. Thompson said, I wasn't happy. Okay, that changed on me. Castellanos said he wasn't happy about being removed from the game, spoke his mind across Thompson said he crossed the line, and so my punishment is not playing. Fair or foul? Not knowing what he said.
Like, do you think we should know
to bench him?
Do you think the public should know what he said?
I would like to, just out of morbid curiosity.
Out of curiosity, do you think it's a right of the Phillies to tell us?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't need to know. He said something that pissed off his boss, and his boss said, no. It's holding players accountable. I mean, if he just let it happen, then you lose all of your authority as nobody's going to listen to you. They're just like, you can't lead like that. You do have to cut down sometimes when people and players go too far. I mean, the morning show asked the question, how much can you get away with telling your boss? Right? I mean, he's the guy in charge. He doesn't want to get back talk. That is, as a coach, that is the one thing that always sets me off. Now, I'm dealing with high school kids, not professional athletes to get paid. But talking back to me is a one-way ticket to the tire or one-way ticket to doing some outlandish running for the disrespect. Do not talk back to me. This is what I saw. I don't need to talk back. So I have no problem with it from the Phillies. Do I need to know what he said? No. I trust that it was probably something stupid. How does Nick Castellanos feel about it?
Are you trying to lose? That's you're taking me out of the game. Are you trying to
Number 3.
Indiana Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton suffered a strained right calf and will undergo an MRI to determine the severity of the strain. However, Halliburton has no intent on sitting out in Game 6. Pacers coach Rick Carlisle acknowledged his star guard will not be at 100%, but made it clear that he will be at Game 6 with Indiana's season on the line. Does a 50% Tyrese Halliburton help the Pacers extend this to a Game 7?
I think as long as you're better than 50%, you can help, because you don't want to. What you don't want to do is you don't want to turn into J.J. Watt, who thought playing injured and out of shape was better than what the Texans had in a playoff game where the Patriots destroyed them because all they would do is just attack J.J. Watt. So it's a little bit of a mix between being selfish, wanting to be out there, and also like, am I actually helping the team? If he's better than 50%, I would say yes. If he's at 50%, I would say no. Do you disagree with that?
No, I do not.
Well, thank you. You could if you wanted to.
I know.
Have you been to Craft Taco yet?
I have not been to Craft Taco yet, no.
Are we going to talk about
hour.
this to start the next hour again?
Next hour,
I'm just going to keep saying it till you go so fans get upset. Braden Surprenant Show rolls on.
beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. It is brought to you by Craft Taco, our lunchtime hour. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Serrano Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. We are off tomorrow for Juneteenth. No shows tomorrow for 97.3 The Fan. So we will be off. Might go to the fair tomorrow. Haven't decided yet. Have we talked about the fair food? We talked about like the new things there.
I
like
think
what
so.
you get. Anyway, we've talked about the fair food. What do you get at the fair? What would you get at the fair? Like, what's something you would have to get at the fair? Sunburn. Dude, I got red playing in the golf tournament. I got red.
I had second-degree sunburn on my shoulders once from just not putting sunscreen on at a Father's Day thing up at my uncle's house in Connecticut. It second degree on my shoulders. It killed me, and ever since then, I have hated getting sunburn. Hated it.
Oh, we got Bailey in the chat. Good
Yes.
job today, Bailey. I don't hit sunburn too much. Got that southern Italian skin compared to your northern Italian skin. Not as many sunburns, Frank, for the Sicilians.
Well, you know, I'm Sicilian as well, actually.
Well, you get out in the sun,
It's
Frank.
it's the Irish part of me.
That's
what gets me.
where it is. I'd rather have that than the French. I have the French stuff, so anyway. SB got a churro once at the fair. What's the best thing you've ever had at the fair food-wise? Yeah, you're a picky eater, but
I usually don't eat at the fair. That's something like I know it's going to be overpriced, so if I'm going to eat, I'm going to eat before it or after it.
What's the point of going to the fair?
Rides and games.
The rides that they installed like a week before that was there?
Listen,
there was a parking lot
I
before.
have a death wish, okay?
Apparently you do. You watch Final Destination? Is that?
No, but I do drive behind tractor trailers.
At a very unsafe distance.
Anything I do is going to be at an unsafe distance.
Okay. The whole point of the fair to me is like, I'm going to overpay for something. Probably the entire day.
It's probably a caricature, at least in my...
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say you're going to the fair tomorrow. What do you have to do at the fair tomorrow? What are the things you have to do at the fair in order for you to be like in front? Today was a great day.
I'm such an old man for saying this, but leave before rush hour traffic.
That is such a negative. You're new with your negativity on that. Leave before traffic?
Or
that was
after.
like,
Either leave before or after traffic. I don't
Okay.
want to get stuck in traffic.
Aside from the old man of getting there and coming home, at the physical fair, what are the things that you have to do to be like, today was a great day?
Stay away from the reptile exhibit. Get a couple rides in.
Which rides?
You
got to have some rides that you like. I mean, it's the same.
Anything that has the potential of breaking, that would be.
They are the
great.
same rides there all the time. They never change.
No, the cars that go around in the circle, the one that's kind of off, like it's kind of tilted off to the side, and that one.
Oh, the one that goes fast around the thing. The one that has like the cover or like the non-cover one.
Yeah.
They have the cover and the non-cover, but they have like 3 of those laying around usually.
Usually the cover one. Again, I'll try to hunt for as much shade as I possibly can.
True. Okay, I don't want to get burned. Gotcha. All right, so that's one.
The one, I don't know the names of them.
You could describe the
spinny one. It's
the spinny one.
Yeah, there it is. It's got like the row of seats at the bottom.
Yeah,
and
it's got like two levers.
Yeah,
like two beams, and in between it.
Yeah,
it'd be like if I had I don't have a pencil or something, but like if I went, this is my phone, and the phone goes like this, like back and forth. You like those?
Yeah, it's another thing I can jump.
Oh yeah, let's play Pictionary on the radio. This is great.
Yeah. So it's got the.
So I got this here and this here, and then
exactly,
and then
it does that.
Jibbida, 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 and then jibbida, jibbida, jibbida,
and it goes in a circle, and hopefully it breaks like right around here.
Okay,
to where I get severely hurt.
All right. Well, 125 people appreciated your little Pictionary, and the thousands of people listening have no idea what you're talking about.
And also the chairs, like the swinging chairs, the one that that goes way up. Now that I'm about 200 pounds lighter than I was the last time.
Oh, the one that goes
there.
like way in the sky.
Yeah, that one. I usually enjoy those.
Okay. But those are the ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I would try to get on. Yeah.
Okay.
Did I depress anyone?
No.
Okay.
So those are the rides. Any other like? You go check out the yearbooks or something. The pigs that race.
Oh yeah, I'll be the.
What about like the?
One they had
like monster trucks every once in a while.
They
Are you into that or no?
Yeah, absolutely. They have the. They had like mini dirt car races in one of those little things a couple of years ago. They also had the big long pool where they throw a frisbee and see how far the dog can jump.
Oh yeah,
while catching the
the
frisbee.
little shows and stuff.
I love those. That's fantastic.
They had a little like wiener dog races the other day. You missed out.
I did miss out.
I didn't go. I haven't gone yet, but I'd like to go. Do any like concerts or comedians entice you to go to the fair?
Not
when
really.
They're performing there.
No,
I've watched.
really.
I've seen Sebastian Maniscalco at the fair.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Sinbad at the fair.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of who else. Comedian wise, I've seen probably a couple concerts at the fair. I can't remember. I don't mind those. It was way cooler as a kid, like going to the infield because they had all like the kid rides with like the trucks like going around in a circle and like the little like mini roller coasters and stuff like that. So you did the rides. That'd be checked out. Any other exhibits of any kind?
Usually it's the live infomercials inside to get out of the heat. That's
like the
always good
ShamWow guy, like the guy,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, let me sell you these knives."
Yep,
Cutco knife guy.
Yep.
Those like mesmerized by his knife.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not buying anything. I'm just here to get out of the sun. Thanks.
We did get a Traeger at the fair like 10 years ago. That was money. They got great deals. They got great deals at the fair, dude. Like some of those are great deals, like the hot tubs and everything like that.
I was just gonna say
you
that.
Like putting your hand in the hot tub, just be like, "Oh, this is nice."
Who's buying a hot tub at the fair?
They just
out of
ship it
curiosity.
to you. They have deals though. Like
I understand that you're not going to be taking it home from the fair, but like if I'm going to like a pool store for that.
It's a good deal, man. Just saying.
Not that I have the money or the place to put a hot tub, but
It's walking out with like rolling into a hot tub. Mommy, they want a hot tub when they play their game. I want to play that game. You're not playing any games?
Oh yeah.
We talked about on the round table. I said like the game I like the glorified skee ball where the little horse goes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. What is the game that you have to play at the fair?
Oh, it's been so long since I went. Every time I go to the fair, it always something bad usually happens after.
Oh God.
Yeah, like me and my ex broke up after we went to the fair. There was one time where we just had like an awful day, thought we'd cheer up by going to the fair, and it made it worse. So I don't really have the fondest memories of the fair.
What does that have to do with the games that we're
Well, no, because I don't go often, so I don't remember what's there.
Okay.
I mean, skee ball is a staple, no?
Yeah, but it's not like real skee ball. It's like you're sitting down and you're basically like trying to fit your hand underneath the glass to pull it to the top or whatever.
Yeah,
you're like throwing, like trying to knock the clown. Like I think what's the clown one?
Yeah, that the throwing the ball at the rack of clowns. You got to hit as many off as you can.
Yeah,
that's that one. I usually do really good at the dart ones, the dart pop and the balloons.
Big dart guy?
Yeah.
You go wreck shop, hustle people at bars?
No. I'm not that good,
Oh,
but
not that
I'm
good.
very
Okay.
I'm very good at throwing a dull dart in such a way that it would pop a balloon.
Yeah, the pit. What about like the throwing the baseball at the glass bottles? Like Prolific said, it's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
the Miller Lite bottle and stuff like that.
You see, I try not to. Now, I'm fully aware that every single fair game is rigged against you, and the fact that you win is just a fluke. I'm one of the guys that tries to figure out how it's rigged to try to overcome it.
Guys studying the basketball hoop going, yeah, it looks like an oval to me.
Yeah, no, it's not. We're not straight here, bud. we got problems with this rim.
Yeah, this one's jacked. Why is this basketball so much bigger than the hoop? Okay, so that's everything. There's nothing else.
No, like I
I'm
said,
not saying I have something else that you've missed. I'm curious.
I haven't gone to the fair in about 6 years, 7 years, so I really don't remember what's there.
Well, it's funny. Like my mom loves going to the fair. My brother yesterday or 2 days ago was like, "Man, I've been to the fair in forever. We should go to the fair." And my mom loves going to the fair. Loves it. She loves the fair.
Mm.
And she, in order to get us all to go to the fair, she usually uses her birthday as an excuse. Her birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
So that's usually we got to go on her birthday because that's going to be the deal. So my brother's like, let's go. And my mom's like, should we go for my birthday? And I was like, I was thinking about going tomorrow anyway. Like, we have the day off tomorrow. Tomorrow's a good day to go to the fair for at least us. I do have to get work done on my car. I'm going to drop it off at Kearney Mesa Chevrolet, get the work done on my car, and then maybe go to the fair. So,
I have a doctor's appointment at 3:30.
That sounds so exciting.
Oh, it's amazing.
So exciting. Anyway, for me, since we already went through Frank's, this counts as our midday food thing, even though it's not really too much food. It's mostly the fair, but it's going on right now. I do have to we got to film some content at the fair. May or may not do that tomorrow. What'd you think of the golf video?
Like I said, I know a guy who can rent you a bulldozer for that divot to fix. But other than that, that was
What
good.
are you doing? I'm fixing a divot. Space Jam.
He's fixing a divot.
Do you understand the frustration I might have had when? Did you notice every time I'm taking a shot on said video? And if you haven't seen it, it's on my Instagram at @B_SURP. Maybe we'll play it during one of the breaks on the commercial breaks, just for the YouTube crowd. Did you not notice that everybody's talking while I'm swinging? Every time?
I noticed everyone was talking while everyone was swinging.
Yes. Every single time I went to mid-backswing. I can't believe he just shanked that. I don't know. Guy's talking about my buddy's director's Aztec shirt.
Got to go to your happy place, bud.
Yeah. I do have to say, when push came to shove, and my buddy Mike, who didn't want to be mic'd up, he was freaking out, and then we get past the whiskey hole, and now all of a sudden he just doesn't want to shut up. He said, "What do we think goes further? Me throwing this rock." We had a Penn State football that, you have to have downtime during the golf tournament.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of time. You got to wait for the group in front of you to swing. We busted out the football, as you could tell in the video that we had. Again, check out my Instagram page. It's pretty funny. What goes further? Can I out-throw Braden's drive right here? And that was after I had 2 bad drives. He's talking to my backswing. As soon as he said that on video, pints down the middle, to the point even one of my buddies was like, "Oh, that's a nice shot." And then you look at my buddy Mike's face, and he's like, in real time,
"Oh, okay,
I'll shut up now."
Never mind.
The same thing happened on the bourbon hole, the whiskey hole. You go on the whiskey hole, right? And it's like, you try the whiskey they have and all that stuff. So I tried some, and then my shot at Fairbanks, I think it was hole 1 of the Valley.
Sure.
Course, I guess, whatever.
Sure. You could have said on the moon. And
I know you wouldn't.
No,
that was the first time I ever
known.
played Fairbanks, so whatever. And I was like, this ball's going in the water. As soon as before I even swing, ball's in the water, and I'm now I got the whiskey girl making fun of me, so I'm like, okay,
Oh no,
ball. I'll take him up. Ball. I don't even care if we play this. Ball. Get back up. They're already starting to drive off. I go up there, whack, right down the middle, and I leave my tee. I just walk straight into my cart, get out of there. Little walk off. Sometimes, it's the funniest thing about the golf thing. I'll tell you about the fair in a second. Was as we were hitting on the driving range, my friend Mike, who is on that video, he goes, I can't wait for Braden to shank a shot, get pissed off, put another ball down, shank the shot again, get pissed off, put it ball down, and then finally hit it straight, and then get even more mad because he knew that he was supposed to do that on the first swing. That's me when I golf in a tournament. First ball, I can't believe I hit it the way I did because I know I can hit it better. Second one, do the exact same thing in a row, and then the third one, I was supposed to hit it.
I can't hit a driver to save my life, but
people can.
I can hit an iron and a wedge, though.
Good. We'll add you to the kid team. Real quick, at the fair, this is what, I don't know if I'm going tomorrow or not. I'd like to go. We do have a day off. If I go to the fair, this is what I have to do. Since when I was a kid, my mom used to always look at the landscaping stuff and all the flower displays, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I had to sit through that in order to go on rides as a kid. So now I can't not start there. I have to. I just naturally I gotta go check it out. I have to see it. I've been doing this every single year I've gone to the fair. I have to go see all the flowers.
When your punishment turns into routine,
now it's like, now I enjoy it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of nice. I like the scenic there. Good job, Ramona High School. Nice job.
Braden's getting old, folks.
So I go there, and then you got to walk through like the big kid rides and stuff first to get there. So you do that. I got to get at least a couple of bad things for me to eat. Some fried Oreos, artichoke hearts. I don't like have like a meal at the fair. It's just kind of a sample of some fried stuff. Like I'm not standing in line for a turkey leg. I could smoke my own turkey leg. I'm not getting, and there's certain foods there at the fair that you just don't get. They're not fair food. I might get a cheeseburger at the fair. You get a cheeseburger anywhere. So, go to Chicken Charlie's, get some fried Oreos, get the fried artichoke hearts. There might be a new thing that looks disgustingly amazing that I'd have to try. My mom loves the funnel cake. That's probably something that usually gets. So kind of a couple of different things. I think everybody's got their fair food that they love. Jocelyn says the huge ass bag of fries. Put the fries in the bag. So all of that food stuff. I have to watch the pig race. Nonstop entertainment. Got to do that. I do like to walk around some of the things that you said, like the Traeger exhibit, all that stuff. Yeah. It's not bad. And then they usually like Chevy's usually there, something like that. I'll go look at the Camaros they're not building anymore.
Yep. Let me go look at all this stuff I can't afford.
I have one of the Camaros.
I know you do.
It's funny. I was like, there's a picture of me at the fair in high school in a Camaro. And I was like, the kid popped up on my memory like, 10 years ago. I'm like, hey, look, I'm driving that thing now. That's kind of cool.
Dreams do come true.
That's right. Some of the animals are kind of cool. Go check out the animals. And then I got to play at least one stupid game. I might play two. I don't even care if I win. I know I'm not going to win. I know I got to pay extra. I know I got to pay a lot of money for the fair, the stupid games. I know I got to pay a lot of money for the food. I just know I'm paying a lot of money. What I don't need to go on any rides. I am cool not going on any rides. I'm not a thrill seeker. The limit of my ride is pretty much Disneyland, and that's about it.
So, Adam, if you're hearing this, I know you're on vacation. If we want to do a Six Flags trip where we get Braden and I on every roller coaster,
I'm not going on a single one.
That would be fantastic.
I'm not going on a single one.
Think of the content, though. Think of the content.
There are certain things I will not do for content.
Think of the content.
And by the way, I'm
not asking you to run naked on a Coronado Bridge. I'm asking you to go on a roller coaster.
Both sound the same level of hell. I will say this. As much as I said Disneyland is my limit of rides, there's like 3 rides I refuse to go on at Disneyland.
Oh no, what are they?
I'll tell you those when I come back, and we'll get back into Padres baseball talk. We'll get to Magic as well. Braden Surprenant Show, lunchtime hour, continuing on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 12:25 on a Wednesday. Having a great time today. How you doing today, Braden? Well, a lot better than I was last night. Let me tell you that, huh? Let me tell you that. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Frank and I are working on content, so during commercial breaks on YouTube, you guys don't have to listen to music. You guys can watch different videos that we create. Golf one might be airing soon. But we got to get other stuff in there. Otherwise, you're going to get sick of it. You're going to treat it like that AT&T commercial. I do want to get to Magic's phone call. We've had Magic on hold for a decent amount of time. Let's get back to Magic. Talk a little bit of sports, and then I'll talk what I teased going into break. Magic, what's going on, man?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hey, Braden, I have to admit, I was not going to listen to either one of the shows today, but I really, credit to you, I wanted to see how you broke down last night's game. And I totally agree with you. I just don't think that the Padres, this particular group as it's constructed right now, can compete with the Dodgers. We'll see what happens at the trading deadline. But I do agree with you. If you look at the wild card teams, the Pods are so much better, I think, than anybody that they would have to fight for the wild card, at least, at this moment. But then it's so disappointing because I've always told my friends, the Padres are the most consistently inconsistent baseball team I've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's so frustrating because I don't know what's more painful. A diehard Padre fan who's been there for years, like yourself, you were born and raised here. And I've been here since '82. I came out in the military, and I've tried my best to be a Padre fan. It is just so hard. It's so frustrating. And when they play like this, what I've made a deal with myself is I won't watch them for 5 unless they win 5 games in a row. Now that might be an issue. I want to watch the rest of the year. I'm hoping not. It's just one of those hard things to watch. It's so frustrating where you as a fan can see what's going to happen before it happens. Bogarts will ground out with somebody on base. Another team will score 8 runs an inning. The Padres can only score 1 run or a single, like a 1-run homer. It's just hard to watch, and it's coming, and then it comes. It's just so frustrating. So thank goodness I had the Aztec basketball program to look forward to, and football is right around the corner. So kudos to you guys for putting on a good show today. I know it's hard, but as a diehard Padre fan, I just don't know how you do it. Have a good day.
Well, it's a lot of keeping the faith, Magic. I tell you what, there's no other team I'd rather root for than be a San Diego Padres fan. And because here's the deal: is as much as it's been painful for a long time rooting for sports teams in San Diego, the hope that you lay in there is for that feeling that it's going to be like when you finally get it done. I mean, that's what you watch sports for, right? Is that ultimate moment of them finally winning, your favorite sports team finally winning. That's part of the equation. I mean, think about what San Diego would be like if they won a championship in anything major. What the city would be like. What would it be like if the Padres won a World Series, right? I mean, think about that. That's what keeps you going. It's come to the point where I don't even know what I would do the next year after they won. I'd be like, now what? Now what do you do? Never thought I would catch this thing in my hand, but here we are. Now what do I do with it? I appreciate the phone call from Magic. Not to keep people hanging. What did I say? What was the tease again? The 3 rides I will not ride at Disneyland?
Yes.
I will not ride. 2 of them are at California Adventure. I will not be doing. I do not participate. I sit out. I don't even care. Oh, you're soft. You know what? So be it. I ain't not jumping on that ride. Whatever the Guardians of the Galaxy ride is now, which is the old...
Oh, the Tower of Terror.
Terror. No, thank you.
Oh, boy.
Free falling is not for me.
You're not free falling, though.
I understand. It's a levee system. I get it. I've seen the behind-the-scenes the TV show of that ride. I get how it works. Don't like the sensational feeling of falling.
That's different. Okay. That's fine.
I don't want to do that. No, thanks. I warned one of my friends the last time we went to Disneyland was a couple years ago when we got to go for free because we know somebody that works there. And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go on this." I'm like, "Not for me, big dog. I will not. He came off the ride, said, I will not be doing that again. And I said, yep, here we go. Ball knower, this guy. That's one. Number 2, I will not ride. I have never ridden. And I heard it's a smooth one, but like whatever it's called now, the Incredicoaster, whatever the California Screaming, I've never been on that ride.
All right.
I will never go on that ride. Maybe one day somebody will convince me to go on that ride. Today is not that day. And the last one, I refuse to go on. I do not like this ride. I do not go on Splash Mountain.
Okay.
That's the other one. I don't like
Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain's understandable. I won't go on Splash Mountain either because I don't want to walk around in wet pants the rest of the day.
It's not the wet thing. I don't like the last rides. I've tried it multiple times. I don't like the last drop. I don't like waiting in line that long for the end result to be something I don't like.
So wait. So you'll go on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Okay, good.
That's not as far of a drop.
I was scared.
I told you. I said my limit on rides is like Disney rides. I love the Matterhorn. Matterhorn makes anybody over the age of 30 have to go to the chiropractor. Love that ride. Big Thunder Mountain. Love that ride. Simulator rides I like. Space Mountain. Love Space Mountain.
You'll go on Space Mountain.
Yes.
Which is an indoor roller coaster.
Yes.
With a bunch of beams that if you're too tall, you're not getting off of it. But
I'm not too tall. So.
But you can't see where you're going. You're on a roller coaster.
You can see the lights.
You can't see where you're going. But you won't go on a roller coaster at Six Flags.
No.
Please make it make sense.
Those are like, you're high in the air and going way faster and
you're indoors.
I'm just saying. What are the rides that I like there? Cars ride sick.
Well, that's
you know
obvious.
what ride that people are afraid of that I like? You know those rides, and they have them at the fair. You know the ones that like whip around the turns and stuff like that? They used to be called Mulholland Madness at California Adventure. That's now like Goofy's Fly School. I love that ride. I can't get anybody to go on that ride with me.
What about soaring over California? Do you have a problem with that one?
No, that's great.
Really?
I told you the 3 rides I don't ride. Those are the 3.
No,
Everything else is fair game. I'm
just saying, I'm just trying to figure out why you have a certain problem with those rides and why you don't have, because soaring over California, that's...
I'm not falling.
No, but it's flight. It's flight with an IMAX screen that makes you feel like you're flying and moving.
Flying and falling are 2 different things. You fall on Guardians of the Galaxy, you fly, and so what's so hard about that? I like flying on planes. I don't like falling out of them. That's why skydiving is not for me. Despite every girl on Hinge having a skydiving photo, which I don't, they're the only people keeping that industry alive.
Congratulations.
Women in their 20s.
Congratulations.
Strictly for a
women.
Hinge photo are the only people jumping out of perfectly good airplanes for fun. That is it. You know what I'm talking about. Fellas, you know. Go on Hinge right now. There's single guys out there. Go on Hinge right now.
I've not seen.
And find me a profile that doesn't have a skydiver in it. They're all skydivers.
Everyone that I...
Of course, Padres die hard. He knows. They... Jumping on airplanes.
So is it a fear of heights?
I don't like heights. I can handle height. Like we went up to the St. Mark's thing, the Venice thing, the steeple thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I went up there. I was a little hesitant, but I went up there. Like once I'm up there and I just like look, it's fine. I don't like the potential of falling off of that thing. So like I need to have some railings around. But if I'm like I feel like I'm protected. I don't mind being up there. I just don't like. I don't like the fear of falling from there. Compared to like the height.
So you being 13 feet up on a scissor lift like I was, you'd have the same reaction as get me off of this thing.
No, I had to do that when I was filming for TCU football. I didn't really have too much of a problem with that once I was up there.
Really?
But
see,
like
my problem is it's not I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with heights, but I have a problem with that because it's not a stable platform.
Well, yeah, it moves. Well, I was in there during a lightning storm, which was great. Last bowl game of the year.
Of all the times you wish you'd taken some skydiving lessons, you could jump right out of that thing.
Apparently. Tell me I'm wrong on the skydiving hinge thing. Tell me I'm wrong.
Not the sky. Somebody in the chat said hiking. That is one I've definitely seen left, right, and center.
Girls picturing like, oh, look, potato chip rock. You're not from here.
Oh God.
That's exactly that. There's two things on Hinge: the skydiving photos, and then the whole like, I'm moving to San Diego in 3 months. Here's my @ no, fake. Out. Immediate X. People understand, dude. I got the ball knowledge on so many different levels here. You know, I'm telling you, the skydiving photos are all over the place, fellas. You know it. You see it. I even have that on my Hinge. I strictly believe that this is the case. They're keeping skydiving companies in business. Some girls think that's funny. Some girls usually don't, and it's usually the ones that have those pictures in their thing. The fellas can't see it, but you know what? That's on there. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff as we talk about our noon lunchtime hour here on 97.3 The Fan. If you call in and take me down in some sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. Celebrate summer with a spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas. Home of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You'll receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. When you get that Hinge match with a girl that's jumping out of an airplane, you can take her there if you take me down in the Midday Sports Standoff. We'll get to it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, sending us number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's 1:45. Still need a contestant for our midday sports standoff. You can win a chance to win a prize, which would be going to Vegas. I was dying. I had so many moments today I've just been laughing my ass off. One was calling Kevin and Chula Vista OG. That was hilarious. That may or may not be popping up as a promo. The other one was seeing Frank's reaction to the rant I had on the Hinge with the skydivers. And it's just been a fun show today. I mean, we got the negativity out of it early, had some positivity here late. We're going to address the Dave Roberts situation at 1 o'clock. I thought the morning show did a great job on addressing that. We're gonna play what he said. We're gonna handle the gaslighting and all the BS that was played out. We'll get you more of a preview for tonight's game, get you ready for Padres and Dodgers coming up at 7:10. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show coming up at 6:10 with Sam Levitt. Gwen and Chris will take over for me at 2 o'clock. We won't have any shows on tomorrow except for the pre and post and the Padres game. And then we'll be back on Friday. We do have some San Diego news that we want to spread along at 1:35 when it comes to the a new event that might be coming to San Diego. We'll talk about that 1:35. Frank is excited to talk about that. And I even said when Frank sent it to me, I was like, this is a big enough deal in which it's worth its own segment. We'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour, too. So we got a lot to get to in the 1 o'clock hour. Again, if you want to participate in the game, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We do have one guy on hold. Frank, do you want to see if he wants to play the game? Because if so, we will get to it. If not, we will take his phone call. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Padres, obviously, and what was last night's game. And we talked a lot about the situation in which, Padres offensively having issues with Xander Bogaerts and just beating the ball into the ground. One of my buddies pointed this out. He's looking at it, and I kind of agree. I mean, we keep talking about how his exit velo, Xander Bogaerts' exit velo has been great, and a lot of his swing speed and everything like that. He looks like he's way out in front of every single ball. Maybe the swing speed's a problem. It's almost like it's a problem, him swinging the bat as hard as he is and the hard contact he has. He's out in front of every single ball compared to Jake Cronenworth, who looks like he's late on every single pitch. Something I'm going to pay attention to tonight in tonight's game. And we'll talk more about the lineup and everything like that. We talked about Rise swinging 2-0 and some of that stuff. We'll re-engage in that in the 1 o'clock hour. But it is time for a midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Mike in Santee. Mike, how you doing today, bud?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. So today's topic is there are 11 possible answers for this topic, and that would be cities that have an NBA and NHL team that share the same building.
The same arena?
Yes. So
That's not everybody.
11 possible answers. So you good with the topic, Mike?
Yes, NBA, NHL, same arena.
Yes. All right. So
do we have to name the arena or the city?
No, just the city.
All right, cool.
Okay. You have the first guess.
Los Angeles.
My guess is LA.
Staples Center.
The crypto.staplescenter.com arena.
Something. Corporate business, something. Philadelphia for now. What, they play at Wells Fargo Arena?
Yes, sir.
The Flyers and the Sixers and the Villanova Wildcats.
There you go. Mike.
Still there?
You there, Mike?
What's going on?
Uh-oh.
Ah!
We had a drop.
You want to see if Jamie wants to take over for Mike?
I think so. Well, let's
throw him on real quick. Let's see what we got. Jamie, what do you got? What's your next answer?
Hello, gentlemen. So we got LA and Philly off the list. Let's go with New York.
New York. It's a good answer. That's what I was going to go with.
All right, Braden.
The Garden. Speaking of gardens, TD Garden, Boston.
Boston. Oh,
All right,
Mike's back.
let's
Hold
go
on. Mike's back. Mike's back. We got to be fair here. We got to be fair.
We're going to qualify
Mike
both
is
of
back.
them.
Mike, you there?
Yeah.
All right. So you were the first one. I will say, I don't know if you heard while you were calling back, but New York and Boston are now off the board.
Okay.
I will say that. I want to say this before Mike answers. If they collectively win, we didn't have a qualifier yesterday.
They could
both
is the thing.
qualify.
Yeah,
Now it's
all
a
right.
team effort.
That's fair.
Now it's 2v1 here. All right, Mike, what do you got?
Go Chicago.
Chicago is right. Do we go back to Jamie for the next one?
If he's stumped, he can go to Jamie for an answer.
You know what? Mike, we'll put you on hold. Jamie, you got the next one. Braden, what's your guess?
I would go with, I'm going on a limb here that they didn't build a new arena for the Utah Hockey Club when they showed up. I'm going to go with Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Jamie.
Let's go with. Oh, my Lord. Let's go with Rowdy.
Where? What was the answer?
I said Rowdy, but that's Toronto.
Toronto.
The Raptors and the Maple Leafs. So we said Philly, we said Chicago.
You said Philly, Boston, and Salt Lake City. Mike and Jamie have said LA, New York, Chicago, and Toronto.
I'm going to go with the American Airlines Center and the Dallas Big D.
Dallas. Mike, you're up. Mike, you there?
Yes. Detroit.
Detroit.
Two more here, I believe.
D city names. Denver, Colorado at the Pepsi Center, which is now called Ball Arena.
Detroit. Jamie, you got the last crack here.
Oh, my Lord. No pressure. I want to say Minnesota.
That's a very good guess, but
Where do the
no.
Wild play?
The XL Energy Center, I think.
Do they both
They have
play
a
in
different building.
But they both play in Minneapolis?
Yeah.
No love for
Or-
St. Paul. Maybe they played St. Paul. I never know.
Uh,
All right. I'm going to go with the Verizon Center. I think it's just look at the Verizon Center. Washington, D.C., the Capitals and the Wizards. Victor
that
is mine.
is it.
Well, did we tie?
No,
I had
no,
one
you
up?
won. I always do it. I always do it to where there's an odd answer.
Oh, no. Poor Mike and Jamie. We should let them qualify for the collective effort.
Yeah, I agree. Mike, Jamie, stay on the line. We'll get you in. Get
Dub.
you in during the break.
All right, so we had, let me see if I remember on top of my head. Denver, Dallas, Salt Lake City, D.C., Philly, Boston, New York, Chicago. That's 8. Toronto, 9. How many were there? 11? 11. What am I missing? Off the top of my head. Can't hear you.
Gotcha. New York, Philly, LA, Detroit, Salt
LA
Lake City,
and Detroit.
Denver, Chicago, Boston, Toronto, Dallas, DC.
It's pretty good. It's good work by Mike and Jamie. Just on it. Just put him on. Jamie's paying attention. He's called it. He's called it in the station enough. He knows what's going on. And did you like? He had the little recap. He was like, "Well, they said this, and then I'm going to go with this one." Put a lot of pressure on Jamie to try to bang it home, dude.
See, it's fun when we can make these games up and do what we want to do.
That's right. So, Mike and Jamie are qualifying for an opportunity to win a trip to Vegas. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we are going to talk about what happened last night. We talked a lot about the negativity of the Padres. We talked a lot about why you should be positive about the Padres after we got the negative out of the way. We haven't discussed the elephant in the room. And that, of course, was Fernando getting hit, Ohtani getting hit, Dave Roberts having a aneurysm on the field. Both organizations claiming they didn't do the other one on purpose. Iglesias, they getting hit in the wrist later, which I actually think was an accident. Manny Machado asking a very, very valid question. What's the point of the warnings then? And what has been the most toxic rivalry in Major League Baseball since 2020? Let's take a deeper dive. I mean, does Dave Roberts lose his San Diego card after last night? We'll discuss on the Braden Surprenant show to start the final hour before we lead into Tony Gwynn Jr. and Chris Ello on Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97 through the fans brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Overwhelmed by processed foods, U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative. 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Ship free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. Braden Surprenant Show with Frank Marchese, our executive producer of the Braden Surprenant Show. It's a fun time here on the show today. Love all the interaction that we have had. We talked a lot of Padres baseball early on. Last hour was a little bit more fun stuff. And congratulations to Jamie and Mike, qualifiers for this month's contest. After today's question was NBA and NHL teams that share arenas in major cities. Good find on those. I like those way more than the stat ones, Frank. But I usually do a lot better in those.
You thank Instagram for that.
Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, IG. We called Kevin in Chula Vista today OG. Dead. Good stuff. All right. Let's talk about this Padres-Dodgers non-rivalry, huh? As we kind of reset, let's talk about what was the emotional roller coaster last night of watching the game from the standpoint of it being a rivalry. Again, like from a rivalry perspective. I find it funny that at this point, it's got to be a bit, right? The whole Dodgers organization and their players and their fans talking about how it's not a rivalry to them, then pretending like they're getting geared up more for San Francisco, when in reality, they get super triggered every time that we do anything in San Diego. I mean, I can't imagine, like, the amount of times that we've seen Dodger fans in the YouTube chat during the post-game show, and even a couple of times during our show. It's like, if you really didn't care, why are you interacting with us? It's that whole men's bathroom meme, right? I don't even care about the Dodgers. I don't even care about the Padres. It's not really a rivalry. You can't say that anymore. Just like you haven't really been able to say that since the Padres finally beat the Dodgers in 2022. They were kind of recapping all the storylines of the rivalry since 2020. Reality is, it finally started to get good in 2020. You got to start to see the fall of the class that was the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. The class is gone. The shine is gone. It might have left with Vince Scully, but there's no more class with that organization, which is really disappointing. Look, I've never liked the Dodgers, ever. Being from San Diego, you don't like anything to do with LA. So you grew up hating the Dodgers. I know there's a lot of Lakers fans in town because there's not really an NBA following in San Diego after the other two teams that were here a long time ago left. I understand that there is a little connection there. I don't like the Lakers. I don't like the Dodgers. We, of course, hate the Chargers for moving to the city that we all hate the most in a rivalry sense. I don't like anything about LA. I don't like the arrogance of LA. I don't like the traffic of LA. I don't like the smog of LA. There's really nothing to like about LA. There's really not. There's a couple of pieces in there, I guess, that are not bad parts of LA. We all have our spots. But overall, just, you don't like the Dodgers. But I will say this, as much as I dislike the Dodgers, I used to respect the Dodgers organization. I used to respect it. Because as much as you didn't like the Dodgers growing up in San Diego, at least you understood that they would do things the right way. They would be an example of how you should run your organization. They would be we're going to do this thing right, we're going to do this thing right, we're going to do XYZ right. We're going to draft and develop players. We're going to play the game the right way. We're going to have class while we do it. You could respect an organization that did that. You could dislike them, but you could still respect them. I think there's a difference between liking and disliking an organization and respecting and disrespect and not respecting an organization. I'll put it from this sense. Without naming some teams, in San Diego as a high school football coach, there are a lot of programs I dislike. I don't like playing them because they're a rival in certain aspects. But there are certain rivals that we have that I do respect. I think the one that really jumps off to me as being a coach at Cathedral, I played it at Cathedral. I went there, and from my freshman year on, we have played Helix every single year in football, with the exception of 2020. That was the only in the spring season. It was the only time we never played Helix. And so there's this rivalry of not liking Helix. But I tell you what, there's not another program in San Diego I respect more than the Helix Highlander football program. I respect all their coaches. When we interact with each other throughout the offseason or on the field, it's always a class thing. It's a respect thing. There's a mutual respect there. That's not the case for all the teams in San Diego. There's a lot of teams that I just don't even respect. And I won't say names, but I tell you what, I respect Helix, even though we are turned into a football rivalry with the Highlanders. I respect what they do. I respect the way that they go about their business. I respect the way that they have been a great program for so long. So just because you're a rival doesn't mean you don't respect your opponent. I don't respect what the Los Angeles Dodgers are doing. I don't respect their fans. I think their fans are kind of out of line a lot with their reactions. And I'll say the same thing about Padres fans that overreact or start fights or do any of that other stuff. I call it as they see it, regardless of what the jersey might say. But they've been classless since, at least where I've noticed it the most, was the Brusdar Gratterall explosion after Cody Bellinger saved his ass by robbing Fernando in center field in that playoff series in Texas. That was the beginning of the end of what was a respectable organization. Allowing Brusdar Gratterall to throw his hat and throw his glove and act like he won a World Series, which is utterly ridiculous. And to that point, they hadn't done that in a long time. That is something that, like, as a coach, I would never tolerate. And when it's at a professional level, it's a little bit different. But there's a way to go about things. That was the first start. And then you go back and forth with the Padres and the Dodgers and kind of the yelling matches that they've been going in. Jerks and Profars instigated a lot of that stuff as well. But then you go to last year with the sinister sling. That was the softest thing I've ever seen. And what Dave Roberts could have done in that situation, being somebody from San Diego, being somebody that grew up here, somebody that lives here now, he could have totally put it to rest, but no, instead, he decided to try to turn it into some type of spectacle with Ken Rosenthal about how, like, painting us as like a bad guy, which is utterly ridiculous. That was another foul on the LA Dodgers and Dave Roberts.
He draws the foul.
I mean, come on, man. He didn't even see it the first time. It was so utterly ridiculous and uncalled for, and again, classless. I'm not upset. I'm disappointed. It's ridiculous. So then, and that continues, and they end up winning. And it's sickening. It is absolutely sickening watching an organization that spends more money than anybody else, that has more resources than anybody else, that gets everything handed to them from Major League Baseball because they have an international sensation on the team in Shohei Ohtani and have the entire country of Japan rooting for them. And they know it's a big moneymaker. But they have everything catered to them on all levels of Major League Baseball, And they have the audacity to just not have any awareness or intentionally gaslight people into thinking that they're like some underdog story and how they're the good guy and everybody should root for us, as the national media clamors over how great the Dodgers are and everything the Dodgers do is so great and it's so great. It's absolutely sickening to watch, which makes the 24 straight innings just even more frustrating against the LA Dodgers. So again, another one in the cap. And here's the thing. Like, I get it. Like, you know, I coach at the school that's relatively the one that people compare to is in terms of like, oh, best team money can buy. You're at the private school, all that stuff. I understand that, but there's certain things that like I would not tolerate being a fan of with that. I think it'd be sickening to watch our own team act like that, regardless if we are one of those teams or not. So then you get to yesterday, or 2 days ago. Let's talk about 2 days ago. You got Andy Pages. Andy Pages thinks he's so great, and he's been playing really good. That guy thinks he's so great that the Padres, and I'm telling you right, he's been good the last couple of days. I mean, and he's had a good year. But he thinks he's even better than that, where he thinks he's better than Ohtani, and he thinks he's better than Freeman, and he thinks he's better with Betts, that Dylan Cease would intentionally try to hit him in the situation that was on Monday, which wouldn't have made any sense to hit him, and he starts chirping. Like we intentionally hit him to send a message. Buddy, you're not that guy. He's been playing really well this season. He's a good baseball player right now. I don't know if that's sustainable. We'll see. But that attitude tells me he thinks he's better than Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Now, he went on to apologize after going, his reaction was a little bit too far. I respect that. I do respect that. But then yesterday, the Dodgers hit Fernando up on the shoulder. Send a message. And Fernando gets hit a lot. And I've talked to people in baseball because every time Fernando gets hit, Padres fans want to retaliate. They're foaming at the mouth. I've talked to people in baseball. You don't hit somebody back just because one of your players gets hit. If he routinely gets hit by the same team, that is when you act. So Fernando gets hit, and he gets drilled in the ribs. And you're just like, okay, here we go. And I give Mike Schilt a ton of credit, and I give Randy Vasquez a ton of credit, because we haven't seen this out of the Padres in years. They finally defended and protected Fernando in the box. And I love the fact that they didn't throw at Mookie, and they didn't throw at Freddie, and they definitely didn't throw at Pages, but they threw at MLB's golden child, the one that would potentially cause some serious ramifications for Major League Baseball. You know Ohtani's protected. I don't think I've seen anybody throw at Ohtani. And Vasquez throws at him to set, we're not messing around here. If you're going to hit Fernando, we're hitting your best guy. And you know what? Again, the difference between LA and their smugness and their ridiculous, classless organization operating, hitting our guy in the ribs, Randy keeps it low and hits Ohtani in the leg. Hits him in the leg. Respectable. So now there's chirping and everything like that. And, the umpires got to do what they got to do, right? At that point, warning, we're done here. We are done here. But no, Dave Roberts feels insulted. He's like, I can't believe they did this. And he goes out there and just has this huge act to try to make it look like the Padres are like a bad organization and a bad guy. Bro, shut up. Just shut up. Enough. The red ass that Dave Roberts has for San Diego because they never interviewed him for a job is tired. It is such a tired act. And every time he acts out, he looks more and more like an idiot. Just shut up, dude. It's simple. If I'm a manager of a team and our team hits Fernando, and whether or not they called for it's different, and then Ohtani gets hit and they send out warnings, I'm like, all right, everybody's done here. We don't need to escalate this anymore. But it's just the whining and the moaning and they're like, well, we're the nicest team ever. We're the good guys. Why is anybody throwing at us? It's so tired, dude. It's such a tired act. Managing the Los Angeles Dodgers might be the easiest job in the world. In the sports world, name me an easier job than managing the team that is a $400 million payroll. They didn't even miss a beat when he left. In fact, the bullpen was probably managed better without him there. How much more? Let me ask you this. If before the season, Dave Roberts and Bud Black switched places, are the records for the Rockies and the Dodgers drastically different than they are right now? They're probably the same. They're probably the same. It is the easiest job in Major League Baseball, being the manager of the Dodgers. You have the best roster, you have an unlimited payroll, and you have a front office that's telling you what to do. There's not really much more that you do, except for throw these antics. It's so embarrassing. I feel bad, dude, because at the same time, like, I have met Dave a couple of times now. When they do the holiday happy hour every single December, and I've talked to him one-on-one. And like one-on-one, you would be like, without knowing any context before, you'd be like, this is a great guy. I've talked about it for 2 weeks now. Actions speak louder than words. And the actions of Dave Roberts, and we're going to get to what he said when we come back. And it just makes it even worse. And Ben Higgins, I thought, did a good job of talking about this on the morning show. But the reality is Dave Roberts has made this so personal and he's dug himself in such a big hole, he can't not do this. He's locked into just being the villain in San Diego, in his own community where he lives now. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he won't care. Maybe he makes enough money where he doesn't care. But I find it very disappointing to see somebody act like a child as much as he does. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And then to gaslight everybody and saying that the Padres hit us, but like we would never hit the guy in the situation, even though it was relatively the exact same situation. I'm tired of seeing this, dude. It's utterly ridiculous. The Dodgers act a fool. The Dodgers complaining about XYZ. The Dodgers pretending it's not a rivalry. The Dodgers trying to portray to everybody that they're the greatest organization to ever live while they do a bunch of Bush League things. And then the Padres get painted as like the bad guy. It's just a tired act, man. You ain't fooling anybody because you're the darling of Major League Baseball and you get all these people to watch you because you have Shohei Ohtani. It's just like, just shut up and play. There's a way to do things and there's a way to not do things. And what the Dodgers do are the way not to do things. I mean, all you need to know, this is all you need to know about some players in the Dodgers. I don't think they're all bad. Like, I can't hate Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman at first base is chummy with every single Padres player. I don't hate Freddie Freeman. I don't hate Mookie Betts. I don't have a problem with Mookie Betts. I think Mookie Betts seems like a nice guy. There's a lot of players on the Dodgers that I don't really have a problem with. But how about this? Think about Luis Arraez for a second. Is there anybody nicer than Luis Arraez in baseball, Frank?
Not that I can readily think of.
Not really. Is Luis Arraez chumming it up with everybody at first base?
More or less.
Yeah. In fact, I don't think he's ever not talked to anybody at first base. He taps everybody on the shin guard when he comes up to plate. He's like, hey, how you doing? He's like the nicest guy ever. Did anybody notice the fact that when Will Smith's at first base, Luis Arraez doesn't say a thing? He's like stone-faced. Like, he didn't say anything. Nothing. That tells you everything you know about a guy like Will Smith. Guys like Max Muncy. Guys like Andy Paez. It's like, come on, man. I can't believe it. Again, I'm not upset. It's just disappointing that an organization that used to have class and have respect for the game and have respect as an organization and lead things in Major League Baseball got so down bad in the last 5 years, stemmed from their manager that calls himself a San Diegan. It's disgraceful. Speaking of that disgrace, when we come back, we'll tell you what Dave Roberts said that gaslit everybody last night. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 127 on the Fan. Braden Surprenant show alongside Frank Marchese. About the utter ridiculousness. Not the show on MTV. About the Dodgers and their organization. Just what they have turned into. Again, I'm not upset. It's disappointing for an organization like the Dodgers to act like that the way they have the last couple of years. There was something about that organization before that was different. And it goes into the kind of the reactions that we had yesterday from the managers. Do you want to start with Dave or do you want to start with Mike, Frank?
I think we'll start with Mike because Mike is shorter.
Yeah, Mike doesn't beat around the bush, dude. He's like, hey, that's what it is. Moving on. Here's what Mike Schilt had to say about the antics last night.
The way the third inning was handled and the warnings being issued after the 2 pitches.
I thought it was appropriate, err on the side of caution.
Did you see any intent behind either of those 5 pitches, or is that just part of it?
Things happen in baseball, guys are trying to pitch in, guys are looking to make quality pitches. Trevino got Toddy to open the game when he was the opener in the game at our place, and he got him again today, and I didn't feel real good, and just trying to make quality pitches and fight for the inner half part of the plate, and ball got away for Vasquez. So I understand that they have to do it at that point, and there wasn't any complaint from my side.
Mike Schilt knows. Also, in translating Mike Schilt, since we were trying to learn the language of Mike Schilt, ball got away. I didn't like Toddy getting hit twice, but, Vasquez trying to make a pitch, trying to make a pitch inside and kind of missed. Except for the fact that the first pitch missed Ohtani's leg on the low and inside pitch that he threw. And then he drills Ohtani after Tatis gets hit. It's an honest breakdown. But at the same time, did Schilt in there accuse the Dodgers of throwing at Tatis?
I don't think so. That's not the way I heard it.
That's not the way I heard it either. He was like, hey, you know what? Couple incidental balls hitting, guys. Nothing to see here. They threw out the warnings. I don't have a problem with it. Now, if both teams did throw intentionally at the other team's best player and they hit them, and that was the case, that is the answer I would like to hear from my manager. Would you not, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Just be like, yeah. What's to see here? Dave saw it differently last night. Here's what Dave had to say.
Just to kind of give an overview, Andy was hit last night. I feel he overreacted. We moved on. We ended up hitting a player, Tatis, unintentional. In that spot, we don't want a guy on base, certainly him, bleeding into their guys in the middle part of the order. And then at that point in time, Shohei comes up with the base open, and Vasquez took one shot at him and then hit him again. And it's very hard to miss that bad with the right-handed pitcher. So for me, it's, if you're going to do it, own it. And there's no misfire, right? And then I just felt that I didn't feel a warning on both sides was warranted, number one. And so I just wanted to know an explanation. I wanted an explanation on their thought process. I didn't come in hot. I just wanted to know why they issued. And at that point in time, I realized later I got tossed, which I didn't understand or appreciate. And even looking back and to see Mike get the opportunity to talk to umpires after I was tossed and their explanation, and he was still in the game. So I think what anyone wants is consistency, right? And so for me is I wanted an explanation, what's going on forward in their decision making, and I got run. And so for me, it's just there was no consistency, and I just wanted feel for the game, and that's what I asked for, and I feel we didn't get it.
Was it the?
Absolutely. I mean, This guy, he hasn't come close. And for me, it's like if they feel that's warranted on their side, part of baseball, if that's what they feel, and I give them credit because they hit him in the leg, own it. And we move on. But it's not a misfire. I do feel it was intentional. And again, that's part of baseball, which we all understand.
When did you realize you got tossed and kind of what?
Marvin told me I got tossed kind of when I was trying to question. And yeah.
When they like sort of get handed and stuff, right? Like it was just the lack of consistency.
I'm a big lack of consistency. I'm very big on common sense. And so for me, for them to issue warnings, I feel it's common sense for me to ask their thought process and hold them accountable to their decision. That's all I wanted to know. And I was going to stand aside. And then again, I see the opposing manager get the same courtesy of explanation and stays in the game. So there's just no consistency with that.
Does Dave Roberts realize these games are on television? Does he know that there's video? I mean, what are you trying to explain here? Oh, I didn't come out hot. Go back and watch. He comes out screaming. And Mike Schilt literally just wozies on out there and gets a quick, all right, and he walked back into the dugout. Does he not think we're not, does he think nobody watches these games?
And the umpire immediately was like, don't just stay there. Don't take another step. He
wouldn't have
goes
done
walking
that.
And out you go.
He wouldn't have done that if Dave wasn't coming out hot. He got tossed because he came out hot, which apparently he says he didn't do. We got video. If somebody is trying to tell me what I saw is not what I saw, that is called gaslighting. He did the same thing last year in the playoffs. We can all see this, dude. We can watch it. I saw it with my eyes. Talking about owning it, just own it. Own it yourself. The fact that he thought the situation for the Dodgers was different than the situation for the Padres in terms of hitting a player is gaslighting. You're telling me that hitting Fernando with the slowest player potentially in Major League Baseball on second base and first base open, I don't even remember how many outs there were. You're telling me that's not a great time to hit Fernando? Are you out of your mind, Dave? And then say the situation was different for Vasquez against Ohtani, which was basically the exact same situation. Bro, just what are we doing here? What are we doing? I didn't come out hot. I just wanted an explanation. Nobody believes you because we all watched the damn thing as it unfolded. I would love to know. I would love to know the reality that Dave Roberts watches on a daily basis. I'd love to know what that reality is. I would like to know what he views the Dodgers as in terms of the victimhood of Major League Baseball, like they're targeted or something like that. I'd love to know his viewpoint on this. He made it worse for himself in the comments. Insane. Made it worse for himself. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let me ask you this, Frank. This is funny. I think this is funny. We have talked about this particular instance for 2 segments in the entire show. And now it's the first time we've really talked about the Dodgers, right? We've talked the entire 4 hours about the Padres negatives. We talked about, why to be positive about the Padres. We talked about going to the fair, Disneyland, all that stuff. Haven't talked about the Dodgers until right now. And now all of a sudden we got all these Dodger fans in the chat just like waiting. Why, like, this guy, like Isaac, why did you wait on your, like, favorite Disneyland, right? We're talking about Disneyland, what you do at the fair. Now all of a sudden you want to show up and start talking, bro? Like, what? Insane, dude. Insane. The Dodger fans and everything like that.
Sad.
It's
It really
sad.
is.
You know, it's sad. Sad. You know what's not sad? Your phone calls. You know what else is not sad? You should see Frank's face when he found out the big news today. This will not make you sad. This has made Frank very, very happy. We have that news to report when we come back. We will also get your phone calls as we finish up the Braden Surprenant show on San Diego's #1 sports station 97 through the Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show. It's been fun today. It's been fun. We've had a lot of fun. The YouTube chat is having fun with the Dodgers fan right now. I'm going to let them continue that. But Frank has news to pass along that we'll dive into more on Friday, so we can get your phone calls. Dustin, Ryan, Jamie, and Eric, wait on hold. We're going to finish the show with you guys. But Frank's been excited to pass this. Oh, we didn't give away the Padre tickets. We'll try to do that at the end of the show. Okay, Frank, tell us what's going on.
Reports are, rumors are coming around. Jeff Gluck from The Athletic has announced that NASCAR could be coming to San Diego as soon as next year with a street circuit.
I love it.
So NASCAR could be driving down the streets of San Diego next year.
I'm looking forward to that if that comes through. We heard some rumors. We had heard the rumors. I know my guy Nicky P in the chat's fired up. He's fired up. Look, it's Nick. He's even got the NASCAR photo ready to go.
Adam, Michael, I will never, ever, ever ask you guys for another thing ever again while I'm here. We have to do a show from the race.
Yes.
We have to.
We have to be there. Frank has to be there.
And you know what? Like I said, I don't get that lucky. Like, good things happen and then something always ruins it. I said, watch. I told you this morning. I said, watch. I will have to work in studio that day. I will not be able to go on the remote. Or if I can go on the remote, I'll get sick. I don't get this lucky without some sort of catch happening.
You know what? You got to think more positively. You're thinking about all the negatives. It's self preservation. It's not what it is. You got to speak it into his existence. Speak it into existence.
I've seen it happen too many times.
No, you got to think about it from a positive perspective. Like, the Padres are going to win today. Why? Because they shed the mustache. We're mixing up our looks today. I'm trying the best I can to help the ball club out. Okay? Mustache is gone. The clean-shaven rally months have begun for the Padres. Unfortunately, if they lose tonight, it's not like I can just grow it back immediately. We'll see what happens.
So maybe it's the middle scruff that.
Maybe we'll deal with the scruff. Okay? Not shaving my head, so get out of that. But mustache gone. Maybe it sparks something. Maybe it starts something. If Xander's batting fifth, I'm going to start breaking stuff. Who's batting in front? Who is batting fifth then? Frank's batting fifth.
I was adjusting the camera, but okay. I can't do much worse.
He volunteered his tribute to bat fifth. Who's batting in front of him? No answer. Our boss Michael's like, Xander needs to be benched. Who's playing shortstop? Who's playing shortstop? Like, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Goliath's text in the chat. He's already been traded. So
that's right. We
traded him.
Frank already traded him.
We traded him to
Carlos
to Minnesota.
Yeah. Trevor Story. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get to the phone calls. Dustin in San Diego. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Dustin?
Not much. You are absolutely correct in your few hours here today. The sky is not falling. The Padres are still one of the better teams in the NL. They do need to make a few moves. They don't need to sell off. They don't really have any prospect capital to do it anyways. But there is a name, and I don't know if I've heard it at all on this channel today at least, but JD Martinez is a free agent. And as you get, deeper into the season, might come at a cheaper cost. But that's a bat that could sit right there in the 5 hole. You guys keep talking about Xander in the 5, which is a nightmare. JD Martinez, I know David Peralta's names come up. We don't have the prospect capital to really be picking anybody like a Jaron Duran or Cedric Mullins or any of these names that you hear, Kyle Stowers or any of these guys. None of those guys are going to be able to come over here unless we're getting rid of El Mutante and Salas, and that would be a really bad idea. Preller's been known to do it. But a JD Martinez might be a guy who is a professional hitter, that doesn't have to necessarily be in the field. That's an option, and then they got to clean up some relief stuff and, hopefully get King and Darvish back. And then, sky is not falling. We're all right, everybody.
Yeah, the sky's not falling. Dustin, I like your headset. Unfortunately, I mean, there's a reason why David Peralta hasn't been picked up by anybody. I don't think anybody thinks he can still hit. JD Martinez doesn't want to play in California. He didn't sign with any California teams before. He doesn't want to play in California. He doesn't want to pay the income tax. He doesn't want to play in California. So you'd have to overpay to get him off his couch. But I like the idea. In terms of prospect capital, we talked about it earlier. Just because MLB Pipeline and some of these outlets have said they don't have the prospect capital doesn't mean other organizations don't value certain players in our org that are not named Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas. They can trade for a left fielder. Left fielder is usually a position that is more affordable than others. Ryan in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm great. Another great show. I think you've successfully managed to fire up both fan bases, which as always makes for exciting radio, and especially a big Game 3 tonight. Frank, underrated ride at the fair is definitely the Zipper. Should check that out.
Will do.
And I wanted to give a little bit more context. I went down a weird rabbit hole this morning reading about the game last night, and it's in relation to Roberts' sort of tantrum. I didn't know it, but apparently there is a big beef between him and the officiating crew that called last night's game because they were the crew that called the obstruction call on Max Muncy at third base in New York against the Mets. And I guess Dave Roberts wasn't having any of that. Not that that's an excuse, but it was sort of a weird little context point to what you were talking about earlier. But that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Ryan. That's probably why the umpires for the first time ever sided with the pod, didn't eject Vasquez for hitting beloved Ohtani. Why they immediately were like, oh, Dave's out of hand. Gone. That's why I got to act cool, calm, cool, and collected, man. You want to burn bridges. Otherwise, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, David. We should have Dave Vassay on tomorrow just to piss everybody off. Set him up.
You know what? That would be a very good idea if we had a show tomorrow.
That's true. Maybe Friday. That wouldn't make sense. Put David Vassay back on. See what his trolling is like. Eric in Chula Vista, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Eric?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
3 quick things. If NASCAR comes, I'm going for sure. That would be awesome. Going through the streets of downtown, Harbor Drive, that would be sick.
Hell yeah, brother.
It was funny listening to Roberts talk about how our right-hander, when he hits somebody, right-handed pitchers don't miss that much, but then when Tatis got hit, he got hit with 97 square in the back, about a foot and a half away from the plate. So that kind of shows you how clueless he is, like you say, when he said he wasn't going out there hot. I mean, dude, look at the replay yourself. And the third thing, I blame Ben and Woods because earlier in the season they said Pius couldn't hit at all, and he is single-handedly killing us right now. So I blame Ben and Woods on that. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Eric. Woodsy, Ben, it's your fault. You guys got Pius going, man. I'm going to need you guys to say that about Xander a little bit more, maybe. It's not really working out like that. He started the Pius train. It's unfortunate. Clay, we don't have too much time, but let's get to you, Clay. Got a little bit of time here. Clay, what's going on?
Hey, just 2 things. The first thing is I didn't understand Mike's move last night when he took Vasquez out of the game after Vasquez had only pitched 68 pitches, and he'd actually been keeping the game pretty much under control. I mean, that really kind of irritated me whenever you brought in the bullpen in the very next inning, and they just managed to give up 5 runs and a whole bunch of hits. But hey, other than that, I mean, everything's still okay. Last year we were 37-39. This year we're 39-33 on June 17th. It's all good. Let's go get them tonight and get a W.
It's a great way to end the show, Clay. Good phone call there. We had a really good phone call today. Bailey, phone call of the day. Frank?
Easily.
Bailey, phone call. Bailey and Del Mar, phone call of the day. Need more takes. Coming up later. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you want to win today's tickets to the Padres, or to the Padres game on June 23rd.
Call now because we don't have much time.
First caller to call in, you'll win 2 tickets to Padres Nationals game on June 23rd. First caller, call in. Frank will get you tickets. Padres Nationals, June 23rd. First 40,000 in attendance will receive a free Fernando Tatis Jr. bat flip bobblehead. Get tickets at Padres.com/tickets. I think we found our winner. Love it. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, and Matt Scraby. We will talk to you guys on Friday on the Braden Surprenant Show, setting his #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.